Phoenix, one of the hottest cities in America. But in the summer of '99, the Arizona Rattlers have given new meaning to the word hot. It's no secret Rattlers like the heat. And the more these Rattlers turn up the heat, it simply enhances the smile on Danny White's face. After starting 2-2, Arizona has raised the roof. They've won 6 straight, and now they're shooting for number 1. After missing the beginning of the season with an injury, Kelvin Ingram is regaining his record-breaking form. In his last 3 games, he's got 31 passes for 382 yards. Hunky Cooper, one of the all-time greats, is simply showing why in some circles he's known as Super Duper Hunky Cooper. With the playoffs around the corner, could these Rattlers be slithering towards another Arena Bowl? You're looking at America West Arena in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. That's where the AFL spotlight shines tonight as the Arizona Rattlers try to improve the record to 9-2, and the Florida Bobcats are trying to take solace in playing the role of a spoiler down the stretch in 1999. Earlier this week, Iowa and Albany improved the record to 9-3, but if Arizona can win here tonight, they'll go to 9-2 and stay one step ahead of the rest of the pack. Hi, everybody. Sitting alongside Mike Gold. I'm Mike Gleason. Thanks for joining us tonight. 8-2. They're riding the crest of a 6-game winning streak. Somewhat surprising considering the fact that Cedric Walker goes to the Atlanta Falcons of the NFL. Kelvin Ingram, he's injured. He starts late. Eddie Goins replaces him. He goes down when Ingram comes back. But yet they're still 8-2.
Well, they are 8-2, and like you said, they face a lot of adversity this year. Losing Bonner, Goins, McMillan at times. I mean, they've had all kinds of injuries this year, but nevertheless, Mike, they're winning, and that's what counts.
You mentioned the words, quarterback controversy. Most coaches will roll their eyes. Now, Danny White says he simply has the luxury of 2 quarterbacks who can win, but nonetheless, Arizona fans will see a change here tonight.
The Rattler fans are going to see a change. Danny White is going with Chad May. No reflection on Donnie Davis. He just feels that based on the way Chad May's played the last 2 weeks, he deserves the opportunity to run this team.
So it's going to be interesting to see if Chad May goes the distance or this time Donnie Davis comes off the bench for Arizona. On the other side of the field, the Florida Bobcats, a disappointing season at 3-8. But Bruce Hardy told us this morning, the so-called skill positions, they can compete with the best of the league.
They can, and Curtis Caesar is one of the best in the league. 2/3 of the way through the year, he's already surpassed last year's stats. He's a smart player, knows how to use the field, and then he's got blazing speed to stretch the defense. You take a look at his stats so far this year, Mike, he's already accounted for 38% of their scoring. That's amazing. They need him to step up big tonight.
And it's a homecoming of sorts for Bruce Hardy, 1-year defensive coordinator, 2 years offensive coordinator for these Arizona Rattlers, now the head coach in his first season of the Florida Bobcats. And he is one of the local favorites. And, of course, on the other side of the field, Danny White is one of the local legends, starring at Arizona State. And Danny White winning 69% of his games, the first and only head coach of the Arizona Rattlers. Of course, he went straight from Arizona State to the Dallas Cowboys and right back here to Phoenix to become the head coach of the Arizona Rattlers. Now, the Rattlers, Hunky Cooper, boy, he is having one heck of a season, Mike.
He really is. I tell you what, they've talked about him getting old and slowing down. No, he's having one of the best years in his career, and he's excited and ready to go tonight.
And Chris Gardner, this game is underway. Gardner out of Michigan State. Hunky Cooper tries to take it off the net, but he won't get the opportunity, so the Arizona Rattlers will open up from the 5-yard line, and there's the quarterback. Chad May gets the starting call.
Well, like we said before, Danny White's going to go with Chad May tonight. He feels like he deserves the opportunity, and he's going to give him every opportunity to see what he can do.
The 6'2", 240-pound rookie out of Kansas State. There's the numbers. Only 65 attempts, but he's hit 40 times. And 13 touchdowns, but look at the last one, the big goose egg. 0 interceptions here in 1999. First play from scrimmage, the Rattlers and the Bobcats, and the first one's complete on the near sideline to Randy Gatewood. Offensively for the Rattlers, Kelvin Ingram hasn't wasted any time picking up where he left off last year. More importantly, since Eddie Goins went down, Ingram averaging over 10 catches over the last 3 games. Up front, Mark Tucker out of USC anchors the line, but a key, Tony Henderson out of Michigan. He needs to be on the field because of the substitution rule, because he could also play some backup fullback for these Rattlers here tonight. Number 8, Kelvin Ingram. Start of the season on the sidelines, watching Eddie Goins light it up. And now this time they're looking for Sextator, and he's tripped up, no penalty flag. Incidental contact. Down is Derek Bledsoe on the coverage for the Bobcats. Defensively, for the Bobcats, it's McQueen, Bird, and Brandon, all rookies in the AFL. Brandon, the only guy going both ways. They don't have a lot of depth up front, so he'll have to really suck it up here tonight. In the secondary, Lawson leads in tackles, but Otis Mounds, he's been playing with a virus all week, and Bruce Hardy told us it's going to be interesting to see how long he can endure after going through the week with that virus.
Rocket 17, wing slant on 0-1, ready?
So Chad May, 3 touchdowns in the second half against San Jose, 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and a 2-point conversion against Nashville, 3 touchdowns in the second half against Portland. Now he's starting here against Florida tonight. May, second pass, actually his third, and it's complete. 2 of his 3, both going to Randy Gatewood.
Well, so far, Mike, you'd never know that Chad May hasn't been playing too much. He's right on the target. You see right here, they run a quick corner to Randy Gatewood. He takes his 3 steps, a lot of confidence, delivers it right in the numbers.
Well, Hunky Cooper leads in the receiving department with 51, but Gatewood, that was number 50 for him, so he's 1 behind Hunky. 14 yards on the play, first down for the Rattlers. First quarter just underway from Phoenix, Arizona. And the Rattlers, of course, are watching ESPN yesterday as Tampa Bay moved to 8-3. But the Rattlers trying to go to 9-2. McMillan, the wild thing, tripped up at about the 20-yard line. Coming up defensively, Clarence Lawson. And the last meeting, look at Florida came in last year at 0-4, Arizona at 4-0. And guess what? The Bobcats got out of here with the upset victory.
They sure did, and I think that's why tonight you've got to look past the records, look past the stats. This is a heck of a ballgame. You've got Bruce Hardy coming back home. You don't think he's going to have his guys ready?
Bernard Edwards catching a 6-yard touchdown pass in the closing seconds of that game. He had 4 touchdowns. Boy, actually, several players really put up some impressive numbers in that game, but Florida got out with the victory. Second down now for Chad May. Eller sliding down. He was the eligible receiver on the line, and he drops the football. He had 1 catch all season for 9 yards, but he had a chance at number 2, but unsuccessful.
Danny White loves to screen and draw and run the ball. He loves to offset the defense. And right there, if Matt Allard catches the ball, he's got a lot of room to run.
Left, X back, 59, X bow, Y arrow on 1-on-1, ready?
So Chad May getting his first starts this year, the 6th play of the drive now. Third down, his first third down situation. May from the 25. Over the middle, he has his man, Kelvin Sextator, touchdown! Kelvin Sextator, that's number 9 in 1999.
Well, Kelvin Sextator runs a great route here, and Chad May delivers the ball right on time. You've got to respect his speed of coming across the middle on the post, and then he stops and shoots out, and he's wide open. Gains a lot of distance between him and the defensive back, and then he just scoots right into the end zone.
That one covers 19 yards, and Mike, in the last 3 games, wow. 3 games ago, 10 receptions, a couple of touchdowns, 14 receptions, 143 yards, 7 for 101 last week against Portland with 3 touchdowns. Jay Felice misses the extra point wide to the right. But the bottom line is Chad May drives him down for the score on their first possession. The receiving end, number 8, Kelvin Sextator, last year's MVP. It's 6-0 Rattlers.
Is this rock or what? Interception return for a touchdown.
He gets hammered big time.
Scores the winning touchdown. Takes it all the way.
Arena football, where the fans are as pumped as the players. Watch it on ESPN and ESPN2.
ESPN2's presentation of Arena Football is brought to you by the U.S. Navy. Let the journey begin. And our journey tonight brings us to Phoenix, Arizona. That's America West Arena at the bottom right-hand portion of your screen. Right across the street from the Bob, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, where just last night Jay Bell made a local woman $1 million richer by hitting a grand slam in the 6th inning. How about that? 6-0 Arizona scores on Chad May's first possession as the starting quarterback of the Rattlers. And Cleveland Pratt is back to receive the kick. He's done it. This will be the 39th time. 677 yards, an average of 17.8. His long of 38, but he's yet to return one for a score. Dave Felice with the missed extra point. Now the kickoff, which is equally important in this game, and he puts it right down the middle, but Pratt will return. He finds some running room, up over the 10, up close to the 15. He's dropped at about the 14-yard line. And leading the way, Fred Mcnair, who's already surpassed his numbers from last year.
Well, Fred McNair's having a great year, but I tell you, talking to Bruce Hardy, he said his line's suffering a little bit. And any time your line suffers, I guarantee you, your quarterback's going to suffer a little bit too, and he has had a couple down games.
And McNair, I said he surpassed the numbers. Actually, his best year was last year, 40 touchdowns. He had 60 last season, and he did leave the last game. And Brandon Bonaventure came in the second half to finish out. So first play for the Bobcats, McNair. Straight drop, goes down the field, and he overshoots his man at about the 10-yard line. That's Cleveland Pratt. It is his intended receiver. Offensively for Florida, Michael McClinton is out with a severe ankle sprain. Travis Pearson suffered a compound fracture in his right leg last week, so that leaves Bryant Jackson. He's only carried the ball twice, so look for John Moyer, a lineman, to see some time at fullback. Up front, Terrence Wisdom, the second-year man out of Syracuse, may hold the key here if he can slide out from the tight end spot and catch a few balls that would take some pressure off of McNair and some of the receivers. So second down after the incomplete pass. 9.5 minutes to go in the first quarter here from Arizona. McNair goes to the far side. Boom, it's caught. And Darren Hughes is drilled by Cecil Doggett at the 20. Defensively, Ingram, Birch, and Eller. Birch, the #1 sack man in 97. He's coming off that shoulder injury in 98, but he's relied on heavily for some pressure up front. In the secondary, these guys are always tough, but Cecil Doggett, who just made that play, he's having a career year. 6 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 15 passes broken up. He is one of the best in the AFL. Third down for the Bobcats and Fred McNair. That's Caesar in motion at the bottom of your screen. He's looking for Caesar at the 5, overshoots him in the end zone, and that'll bring up a fourth down.
Well, they tried to get Curtis Caesar deep and use his speed on Carlos Brooks, but Carlos Brooks stays with him stride for stride. We're going to look at it. It's him right down the middle of the field. And at first he was open, but Brooks' catch-up speed is so good that he was able to get to him and cause the incompletion.
Well, we already talked about last year, the Bobcats beating Arizona 61-54. Well, the last time the Bobcats had tasted the postseason was 1993 when they were still the Miami Hooters. This will be a 46 yards for Chris Gardner, the former Michigan State Spartan. Bonaventure spots the ball, and it's definitely long enough, and it's right down the middle. So Gardner puts the Bobcats on the board on their first possession. So with 8 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the first 15 minutes of the game, there's the score. Arizona doubling up at this juncture, 6-3.
Now is the perfect time to start weightlifting. The perfect time for SoloFlex. For a lot of good reasons. No other exercise is better for your overall health than weightlifting. The muscle you build on SoloFlex increases your metabolism to burn fat 24 hours a day. Weightlifting also boosts your immune system and increases your aerobic capacity. Weightlifting strengthens your bones and tendons. And nothing works better than weightlifting to improve your looks and energy. Now is the perfect time to call SoloFlex. Call now for your free brochure.
Mike Gleason and Mike Cole back in the snake pit. 6-3, 8:04 to go. And Chris Gardner, who was waived once this year, on June 1st, re-signed at June 23rd, drills a 46-yard field goal, and it puts the Bobcats on the board. So Gardner getting ready to kick off for the second time here tonight, and Hunky Cooper is back to receive. Cooper returned to 37 now for over 800 yards. Gardner, not a real high kick, but it's going to just miss the net, goes into the stands. Penalty flag hits So, of course, missed the net, goes into the stand. So Arizona starts at the 20-yard line. So great field position. Right now, Mike, let's check out your keys to the game.
Well, 3 big keys for Florida tonight are don't turn the ball over, try to rattle the quarterbacks from Arizona, expose this controversy, and they've got to protect Fred Mcnair. In their 8 losses, they've turned the ball over 23 times, but in their 3 wins, they've only turned it over 2 times, Mike.
And, of course, the first one was a touchback as far as kickoffs. That one goes out of bounds, so they're keeping the ball out of the hands of Hunky Cooper.
7.
Albeit they started the 20-yard line. Chad May with a second possession. He wants it all, and he's looking for Schexnayder, and it's almost picked off. That's Otis Mounds in the defensive play. And Schexnayder, by the time the ball caught up with him, was actually double coverage.
Well, we talked about getting pressure on Chad May and rattling him a little bit, and here they get a little pressure on him and make him force a throw that I don't think he wanted to throw because he threw into double coverage when he had Hunky Cooper open on the sidelines. You look at Arizona's keys, they've got to take the air out of Mcnair. They need to put pressure on him. They got to win the turnover battle. Everybody has to win the turnover battle in this league, and they need to execute offensively. They feel if they execute offensively, they can get the job done.
Chad May with 10 Big 8 passing records, 22 Kansas State records, leads at 6'3". Oh! Cooper caught it and dropped it after he was drilled on the near sidelines.
Well, Darren Hughes just steps up and says, Hunky Cooper, I'm here. You're not going to catch a ball on me, and, you know, I'm not afraid of you all night. And that's the attitude Florida's brought into this game. They said, hey, we're not afraid of these guys.
But you know one thing, Hunky Cooper is one player that's not going to stay down. He's going to bounce up regardless.
No. Hunky Cooper's going to fight him right back.
Wing gig on 1-on-1, ready?
Hunky Cooper,
Hurry up.
the Arena Bowl MVP in 1993.
7.
Ball at the 20. 3rd down. May, plenty of time, leaves the pocket, looks downfield, finds Hunky Cooper. He's down at the 15. Boy, Chad May, that's what Danny White said. He said Davis is a very talented quarterback, a very talented athlete, but Chad May might be a little bit better in buying himself some time.
Well, what he just has a great field presence, you know, and you don't have to necessarily be real fast to have that. And you see, he just feels where the pressure's coming from, and he's able to go away from it and then deliver the ball, have the presence of mind to deliver the ball to Hunky Cooper.
So Cooper's numbers coming into the ball game, 51, that's number 1 on the team. And that last play to Hunky goes 15 yards down to the 15-yard line. Of course, the red zone being the 5-yard line in the AFL. First down, that's Randy Gatewood. Bo Kelly, who had 16 yards on only 3 carries in their last victory, which was their 6th straight. That's an average of 5. He gets up over the line of scrimmage, picks up 2. And brings up a 2nd down. And about 9 for the Rattlers.
Left wide loop. Fire pitch 37, T-post. Left wide loop. Fire pitch 37, T-post on 1-on-1, ready?
Left wide loop, fire pitch 37 T-post. They're going to fake the toss to Bo Kelly out here, okay?
Timeout.
Well, Chad May doesn't like what he sees on the defensive side, Mike, so he's going to call a timeout. So we're going to take a break as Danny White and Chad May talk things over. 4:42 to go in the first quarter from America West in Phoenix, Arizona. It's 6 for the Rattlers and 3 for the Bobcats. We're back after this.
It is one of the most powerful warships, with satellite communications, radar and propulsion systems that are the most advanced in the world. But USS Mcnair cannot do a single thing without you. Because the most important part of USS Mcnair is her crew of over 250 sailors who every day embark on a journey of honor, of courage, and of commitment. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
What's it like to bite into a Wendy's Classic half-pound double with cheese? Man, this is weird. Wendy's, it's hamburger bliss.
Now get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 13 weeks at just 57 cents a day, a 25% savings.
Call now, 800-854-2200. That's 800-854-2200 for the Wall Street Journal.
6-3 so far here from Arizona. This, of course, being All-Star Weekend. We're not just talking about what's taking place at Fenway Park in Boston. The best up-and-coming stars in baseball play on ESPN2. We'll talk about that in a second, but you look at Arizona's offense this year to last, Mike.
Well, it's a little bit down, but I tell you, when you lose a guy like Cedric Walker, you've got to expect to lose a little bit of your offense, you know, but they've done a lot of things different. Right here, you look how much better they're running the ball. Just because they lose them doesn't mean that they're not going to be any better. They find ways to get better, and by running the ball, they have. You know, I'm 8-2. What can you say?
It really is. I don't want to say it's amazing, but they certainly have faced some adversity. Let's go back inside the huddle.
Next loop, fire pitch 37 T-post on one-on-one. Ready?
Fire pitch 37 T-post. Again, they're going to fake the toss to Bo Kelly out this way, and they're going to try to hit the tight end down the middle of the field.
And there he goes. Ring it up for a touchdown. Big number 95, Kelvin Ingram, who just last year was the #1 tackler for the Predators of Orlando. But this time he's in the end zone for the Arizona Rattlers.
Well, you're looking at the tight end right here. Now, he's just going to release inside. Now, the responsibility is of the linebacker to cover him, but no linebacker covers him, and he's wide open. The defensive backs don't have to cover him. They're covering receivers. That's the linebacker's responsibility.
Nice soft hands, too, Mike. He's open. Sometimes you're so wide open, some of the best receivers might drop the ball, but he made sure he had his hands around it. Dave Felice missed the first, but not that time. So he's 1 for 2, and the Rattlers have 13 points on the board. So Chad May, 3 of 5 on his first drive. They go 41 yards. And that time he hits Kelvin Ingram, the 6'5", 285-pound third-year man out of Oklahoma State. Now, we mentioned the fact the All-Star game is going on at Fenway Park, but the best and up-and-coming stars in baseball will play on ESPN2. First from New Orleans, the AAA All-Star game at 7:30 Eastern Time. Then from Mobile, Alabama, the AA All-Stars take the field at 10:30 Eastern, all coming up on Wednesday night on ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Kelvin Ingram. He has 55 receptions for 10 touchdowns for Anaheim back in '97, and in '98 he's the #1 tackler for Orlando. So this guy got a hit done on both sides, which all the good ones do. 5 plays, 30 yards, 324. Not necessarily a long drive in arena football, but it's a little bit better than 224. We're talking to Danny White. He said sometimes you can score too quick in this game.
You see so many 1- and 2-play drives in this league. It's amazing to see a 5-play drive and just kind of going, wow.
Dave Felice redeemed himself with the extra points. Pratt trying to get it. Dave Felice didn't hit the net, but he placed it just inches from the boards. And Cleveland Pratt won't have the opportunity to return it, so it comes out to the 5-yard line.
Placed it just right?
He placed it.
He missed it just right. It's like my golf shot. Oh, that was a great one. I missed it just right.
See, you're not only an ex-quarterback, you're also an ex-kicker, aren't you?
Well,
you always stick up for the quarterbacks.
I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
I think he placed it.
Oh, one, ready? Hey, if your man beat us, coach.
So here comes Fred Mcnair. Last week against Orlando, 15 of 32 for 143 yards and a touchdown, 2 INTs. Mcnair looks one way, goes back the other, and Carlos Brooks comes up very quickly. And Kevin Jackson is smothered, but there is a gain of 5 on the play.
Well, Carlos Brooks comes up and hits him hard. And, you know, these two teams are very physical. It was a very physical game last year, and it's going to be a very physical one tonight.
Let's go right, let's go right.
Florida 11 yards, down by 10, off to a relatively slow start here. Only 3:15 to go in the first 15 minutes of play. Riding the skid. I guess you wouldn't be riding it, ride the quest of a winning streak. They are suffered, mired in a 4-game skid. This one's complete to the former Ohio State Buckeye, Bernard Edwards. And Bernard Edwards, that's his 21st catch of the season. Edwards having a big year in '97 with 73 catches, but in '95 he was first team All-AFL with 86 catches and 19 touchdowns.
This is exactly why Bruce Hardy says we have the best, or can compete with the best with our skill positions. Bernard Holmes, Cleveland Pratt, Curtis Caesar. It's never ending out there.
Edwards picks up 11 on the play. And it's a first down for the Bobcats. Under 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Mcnair. Downfield. Ooh! Curtis Caesar went up for it. I think the ball hit the bar underneath the net on the right side. As you can see, the net's wavering.
Well, he breaks down the middle, and he looks like he has him open. There's just not a lot of room to work down there. And then the ball does come right off the edge of the goalpost, and he goes into the stands. I'm like, they get to keep the ball, right? But they've got to throw the player back. It's just a rule.
especially this player. I don't think Bruce Hardy would want them to keep Mr. Caesar.
No, I don't think so either.
Mcnair 3 of 6 now for 23 yards. Caesar, great concentration, even though they didn't come up with it. And this time it's thrown behind the intended receiver, which is Kevin Jackson.
Well, after the play, Fred Mcnair looked down at his hand like that ball slipped, because that's not a normal Fred Mcnair pass. He's usually right on the numbers. And I, you know, it gets hot out here in this arena, especially in 114-degree heat in Arizona, even though you are indoors. And he's got a lot of sweat on his hands, and I'm sure the ball slipped away.
Third down conversions for the season. The last 2 games have really struggled. 0 for 7. 3 for 11.
Those are stats they've got to improve on to beat a team like the Arizona Rattlers.
Third down, 10 yards to go. Ball at the 21. Mcnair. Oh, incomplete. As Kevin Jackson and Caesar crossed inside the 20, but the ball just out of the outstretched arms of Curtis Caesar.
Well, the reason that ball was incomplete, Mike, was because of the pressure they put on Fred Mcnair. Bo Kelly comes through and delivers a dynamic blow. The pattern took a little too long to develop downfield, and he almost had to really throw it away.
Mr. Left, wide back, 59 yards.
Well, they're going to go for it on 4th down. Maybe they're better percentage-wise than they are on 3rd down.
Well, Kevin Jackson, as Mcnair looked over here at the near side, waved his man back, which was Kevin Jackson. The timeout is called. We're going to keep it right here in the snake pit. See the numbers on the top left of your screen, 13-3. As Arizona comes in averaging 57 points a game, which is number 1 in the AFL. And the Florida Bobcats are giving up 50 points a game while only scoring 44. Boy, Florida's offense at the beginning part of the season. As a matter of fact, the first 2 games, look at that, 60.5 points per game. I remember we did their game, or is it Nashville, earlier this year? And they were one of the top scoring teams in the league.
Right, but you know what? Their line is suffering, like Coach Hardy said. And anytime your line suffers, you win in the trenches in this league. And anytime your line suffers, your offense production is going to suffer. And that's a direct reflection of their line being young and guys being hurt.
So Bruce Hardy, first-year head coach, 12-year veteran of the Miami Dolphins.
Right trip, wing loop, 59, wing hit and go, edge post stop. Oh, ready? 59, let's go.
Well, they're going to try to get tricky here, Mike. They're going to run a wing hitch and go. So the wing is going to come around in motion. Bernard Edwards, and he's going to stop and then go.
There it is. Mcnair pumps, and he finds Caesar at the 12-yard line. Caesar inside the 10, and he's dragged down by Cedric Walker.
Well, that shows what type of athlete Fred Mcnair is. He has all kind of pressure on him there, but he has the presence of mind to elude the pass rusher and still be able to find his receiver downfield in Curtis Caesar.
Well, the Bobcats, as the first quarter comes to a close with good field possession, Kelvin Ingram gets in the end zone, as does Kelvin Ingram. But Curtis Caesar goes up and in, but without the ball. It's 13-3.
So I'm doing a little channel surfing, and I land on Animal Planet.
You don't plan on watching this channel. It just happens to you.
It's got action, adventure, drama, harmony with an animal twist. Now that's big. It's what everyone's going to be talking about tomorrow around the watering hole. They've got great shows like The Crocodile Hunter. You watch it once and it pulls you in. On Animal Planet, anything can happen.
Things in life can change like that. All that work, and it's gone. But Farmers Insurance can help you get things back to the way they once were. That's why everything we do, from the way policies are written to the way claims are handled, revolves around getting you back to that point. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Hey, wires can short out. Toasters can catch fire. These things happen. But with Farmers, we can at least help get you back where you belong.
The store is now closing. Please make your final selection. Thank you. Available first at foot action.
Welcome to Hill House, everyone.
For 100 years,
What's the deal with the Addams family mansion?
Don't you love it here?
no one has dared to spend the night at Hill House.
There won't be anyone around if you need help.
On this night, 4 people will find out why. Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones. The Haunting, rated PG-13, starts Friday, July 23rd.
We're in Phoenix, and we're heading for the second quarter, and it's 13-3 Rattlers as we check the numbers after the first 15 minutes of play.
Well, I mean, 13-3, Arizona's stats are better. Thus, obviously, relates to the score.
And you look at the Florida Bobcats at 3-8, but Bruce Hardy was telling us at the hotel today, he said, from the top team to the last place team in this league, there's really not a whole lot that separates the team. So anything can happen, but they just got to believe in it. That's one thing about the Arizona Rattlers. Danny White said they always feel that they're in a game. They never feel like they're out of it. Right now, Mcnair and company threatening, ball inside the 10. First down, Mcnair over the middle, touchdown! It's Mr. Caesar. Curtis Caesar, the second-year man out of Grambling, pulls in his 29th touchdown.
Well, Mike, that's a big play for Florida. They could ill afford not to score on this drive. And you see Curtis Caesar come down. Basically, it looks like a miss in the coverage because he's wide open. Fred McNair says, you give me time, I'm going to get it to him. Give me time.
Curtis Caesar, an All-American his senior year. 7th-round pick of the New York Jets. Had 146 points, setting a Bobcat record last year. Had 176 coming in as Chris Gardner hurls it right down the middle. So the Bobcats certainly are not going away. They fear no one, albeit they are 3-8. It's 13-10. Bobcats trail by a field goal.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, I recommend Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from ferocious odor and wetness that glides on clear with no flaky white stuff.
How far's the female?
A good 70 yards, mate. I've made longer passes than that before. Right Guard, Clear Gel, and Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Don't try this with Gojo or Fast Orange. Only new Castrol Super Clean Hand Cleaner removes dirt and grease without water and without towels. Maybe those other cleaners should throw in the towel. New Super Clean Hand Cleaner.
What kind of rooms you got?
King size.
You got room service?
Donuts and coffee.
Got entertainment?
All rooms have every movie ever made in every language, anytime, day or night.
How is that possible? Could your business use the bandwidth to change everything? Ride the light. Quest.
In a battle against athlete's foot, you gotta have boom, tough actin' Tinactin. Nothing stops the itching, burning, and cracking like clinically proven Tinactin antifungals. They're so tough, they can even prevent athlete's foot. Get boom, tough actin' Tinactin.
Curtis Caesar pulls in his 29th touchdown reception. It's 13-10. We had a chance to talk with Curtis Caesar, who has posted some pretty impressive numbers on how quickly he's clicked with his quarterback, Fred McNair.
We have a great chemistry. It's like from the day I came in, I mean, we just been clicking ever since. And I guess
a lot of that has to do with the fact that we played in the same conference in college, the SWAC, you know, because in the SWAC, we play it pretty much the same way. You know, it's just a lot of passing, you know, a lot of scoring and stuff like that. But we have a good chemistry, and it's a good thing.
And they certainly do. They talk about the SWAC, and we're talking Grambling, we're talking Alcorn State, Fred Mcnair, who actually was known as Air Mcnair before his brother Steve Mcnair was. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Well, there you go. You learn something every day.
Yes, I do. That's why I like you so much, Mike.
Chris Gardner out of the Big Ten. Hunky Cooper out of UNLV. Here he goes. Hunky at the 10. Looking for some room at the 15. And he's at the 20 up to about the 23, maybe the 24-yard line. And Hunky says, get out of my way. I'm coming through.
Hunky Cooper has such great instinct on kick returns. He's able to find holes. He sees when holes get clogged up, runs away from them, knows how to use his blockers to his advantage. Just a great return by Hunky Cooper.
Averaging 23. That one goes for 29 yards. And Chad May ready to go to work again. He's 5 of 9 for 70 yards and a couple of touchdowns already in his first start. The rookie out of Kansas State. This time he has a great field position, just shy of the midfield stripe. That's Randy Gatewood, also out of UNLV. He has the football, penalty flag down. As soon as he touched the football, Clarence Lawson got his hands on him, and a penalty flag was dropped on the carpet.
Number 79, Arizona.
And the penalty goes against Arizona. Matt Eller, the 6'6", 280-pound, 6-year man out of Bethel.
They are going to be replay first down.
So they have to replay this one. It comes back to the 15-yard line.
That's really a surprising holding call because it was only a 3-step drop, Mike, and you really don't need to hold on a 3-step drop because the quarterback's getting back and getting rid of it right now. You see on the left side of your screen, Matt Eller, number 79, right here. Well, what happens is he gets beat, and in order to save his quarterback, which probably is really smart, he just tackles the man.
Yeah, he could have got away with it. McQueen went down. Schexnayder in motion, bottom of your screen. Here it comes, quick drop. It's Gatewood again at the 15, up to the 20. So they get 5 yards back. Randy Gatewood, boy, he's probably not one of your marquee players, but you look at the numbers, offensively and defensively. He's the all-time interception leader on this football team. He is just one of those steady guys you love to have on your team.
He really is, but when you've got a guy like Kelvin Schexnayder on your team, it's hard to be a marquee player, you know. So, hey, Randy Gatewood does his job.
Right, X back, 59, X sideline, wing bench on one, ready? Yeah.
X sideline, wing bench. Schexnayder's going to come down and run a sidelines. Hunky Cooper's running a bench.
Pressure. May finds his man, and Hunky takes the shot by Hughes, but he holds on at the 16-yard line.
Well, that play takes time to develop. And Chad May, being the scrambling quarterback that he is able to find time. You see him coming free on him, but he's able to elude him. And then Hunky Cooper runs the bench route, which is a deep out. And Chad May delivers it on time, and Hunky makes a good catch going into the wall.
Hunky Cooper, he was a quarterback of the National Junior College, national champs at one time. Look at the balanced attack. 51, Gatewood with 49, Schexnayder with 45, and Schexnayder, of course, boy, didn't even start because Eddie Goings was the man early. Hunky Cooper, 2 of 29, the wild thing. McMillan that stood up at the 15, but boy, Arizona is moving the chains now.
Well, I saw a helmet come free on that. There it is right there. McQueen lost his helmet.
Throwing McQueen, 6'3", 290-pound. He's a rookie. A lot of rookies on this team.
McMillan just goes.
You know how he gets stood up there. McMillan has had some back problems this year.
McMillan, I tell you, he's been through a lot of injuries. He's had both knees operated on, back problems. It's amazing he's out there playing right now.
The ball just shy of the 10-yard line. 11 minutes to go in the first half. May, and it's batted down. Good play by John Moyer.
I'm sorry, Mike. I should mention, though, that he didn't have both knees operated on this year in the past, but they have been total reconstruction. So, I mean, he's a medical miracle out there, I'll tell you.
Well, John Moyer, who might see some time at fullback here, possibly, with Ryan Jackson, the lone fullback, getting some work done on his elbow, his left elbow. Boy, it's too bad Travis Pearson, who had 100 yards rushing and 100 yards receiving in 98, had a compound fracture of his right leg. Michael McClinton, the usual big guy known as the Bull, severe sprained ankle. Danny White and Chad May.
Left, X back, 10X post, wing and Y arrow on one, ready?
Left X back, 10X post. Calvin Schuxnader is going to run a post right here.
Well, Chad May's hit on 4 of his last 5 attempts. Third down play. May quickly. Oh! Calvin Schuxnader. He had it. It would have been number 10. He had it. He dropped it.
Well, Chad May puts it right on his numbers, and he does drop the ball, and you're not going to see a whole lot of this right from Calvin Schuxnader. It's a little high, but those are passes you expect your receivers to catch.
Well, when he made his cut right here, he definitely looks like he's 100% back, though.
Well, he sure does look like he's back. Talking to Danny White, Danny White said he's almost there, but I see touches of last year in him already.
And you saw from the replay, Clarence Lawson getting his hand on a jersey, getting away with one. This will be from 25 yards. DeFelice. And DeFelice drills it right down the middle. It's Richard DeFelice, his 4th season. First as a Rattler, and he gives Arizona a 6-point lead at 16-10.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too. And Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
Arizona leads it by 6. Yesterday on ESPN, we're in Tampa. Saturday, we'll be in Grand Rapids as the league's top-rated passer, Craig Cusick. He hopes to lead the Rampage to their first ever playoff berth against the talented but unpredictable Mustangs of Milwaukee, led by the versatile Iron Man, Gary Compton. He's one of the true warriors of the AFL. That's Milwaukee at Grand Rapids, this Saturday at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Kind of looking forward to that one. Craig Cusick, I thought he was going to go through the entire season without throwing an interception.
There for a while I did too, but you know, he's thrown a couple, but he's still the top-rated passer in the league, and he's playing great, and that is why Grand Rapids is playing so well this year.
And, of course, Milwaukee. We mentioned the word unpredictable. That's the operative word. We saw them against San Jose earlier this year. They ran off 4 straight. They've got some good football players on that football team. That should be a great game Saturday from Grand Rapids. This one, 16-10. So far, the Bobcats hanging in there as Arizona tries to go to 9-2 and leave them with the best record. DeFelice, midway up the net. Cleveland Pratt sidesteps one guy at the 5. He's up to the 10. Boy, he hit that 5th gear at about the 8-yard line. He gets up to about the 13. And you look at the 2 quarterbacks of Fred Mcnair. He comes back on the field, and Chad May.
Well, Mike, there's not a whole lot of difference right now. Chad May obviously has 2 touchdowns and a few more yards, but right now they're even, you know, and I don't know if this is exactly what Danny was looking for out of Chad May, but really I think he's done his job. He's put the ball where it's supposed to be. He's just had a couple drops, or his stats would be better.
You see Mcnair with 51 yards, and coming into the game, he was 642 shy of 10,000 in his career. That's Hughes at the 20, and he's stripped up at the 21. Cecil Doggett making the defensive stop for Arizona.
Mike, this is the quick screen to Darren Hughes. They use their quick screens, and regular screens just like they would use their running game, because In this game, you've got to use your running game and quick screens on defensive lines like Arizona to offset their pass rush.
Well, Fred Mcnair is going to call a timeout and talk things over with Bruce Hardy. So we're going to take a timeout from the Snake Pit. The Snake Pit being America West Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. The Rattlers, with 8:50 to go, lead at 16-10 over the Florida Bobcats.
FogDog.com, your anytime, anywhere sports store. Fog Dog.
I love John McEnroe. He's the best tennis player ever. I mean, I hated him, but I loved him. I mean, some people just hated him. I mean, Wimbledon hated him. The English hated him. The ball boys, they hated him. The other players hated him. Jimmy Connors, Bjorn Borg, he drove him nuts. He had control of you. He had control of your mind. He'd win and win and win, and you'd hate him and hate him and hate him. You can say what you want to say about John McEnroe, but he was a genius.
You've got to call 1-800-CLASSIC to get ESPN Classic.
ESPN2's presentation of Arena Football is brought to you by Quest, the bandwidth to change everything. And by Tough Actin Tinactin, the official foot care product and antifungal of the Arena Football League. 16-10, 8:50 to go. And the Florida Bobcats. Bruce Hardy was pretty honest this morning. He said, hey, this could be a very, very good football game, or it could be one lopsided affair. And right now the Bobcats are hanging tough. Bernard Edwards puts that 6'5" frame into gear and dives over for the first down.
Well, he gets the first down, but Cecil Doggett comes in and says, hey, I'm here to make a play. And like Doug Kay told me earlier this week, Cecil Doggett is playing some of the best football he's played in his career.
That's good to see. Guys in their 5th, 6th, 7th year playing so well. Cecil Doggett in his 5th year out of West Virginia.
Well, he's the team leader on defense, and they need, for him to step up and play real well.
He was all-world in the All-World League for Frankfurt a few years back. Mcnair down the middle. It's complete to Hughes. That's Darren Hughes, the 5th-year man out of Carson Newman. Spent some time with the Minnesota Vikings and the Ohio Glory. Remember the Glory? Played in Columbus, Ohio, the World Football League. Mcnair now has hit on his last 4 for 43 yards and a touchdown.
Well, the reason he's hitting on his passes right now is because they're giving him time. They're protecting for him. They figured out a way to stop the Arizona pass rush.
Let's go right, X-back, 59, X-stutter cross. Someone ready?
Right X-back, 59, X-stutter cross. You're going to have a go route out here, and then the X-man's going to come in, run a stutter here, and then try to cross across his face.
Mcnair has his man. It's Bernard Edwards again inside the 5. You always love to be in the red zone normally, but so many guys, and Bruce Hardy brought it up again today, Mike, that inside that 5-yard line, it's so difficult to score.
It really is difficult to score down there, and they've got to have a good running game. But, and they haven't been really running the ball that well, so it may be tough for them to get in, because that, like we say, that 8-yard end zone, there's not a lot of room to work down there, Mike. And in some places you've got closed-in corners, it's even tougher.
And speaking of the running game, they've got John Moyer now, a lineman, 6'3", 265-pounder, playing fullback. Take the pitch. Mcnair, plenty of time, and it's picked off in the end zone. Oh, what a big defensive play. There's another big name. Number 5, Cedric Walker, who back in 1997 set an AFL record with 108 tackles.
We're going to take a look here, Mike. What happens is Fred Mcnair does not see Curtis Caesar down there right off the bat. He waits too late to throw the ball, giving Walker time to come across, read his eyes, and come across and pick the ball off. If he gets rid of the ball when he's supposed to, there's a touchdown.
Cedric Walker, who's been kind of nursing a bad knee for the last year and a half. 4-year man out of Stephen F. Austin. Talked about that record he set in 97. That's his first interception of this year.
X-Loop, laser 12, wide takeoff. On one, ready?
Mcnair had hit on 6 straight before the INT.
Laser 12, wide takeoff, wide takeoff.
Laser 12, wide takeoff. The wide receiver down here is going to run a slant and then go up the field.
There's the pump. There he goes. Receiver drop. Oh! Ingram is going to get out to the 5-yard line. Ingram already has a touchdown reception, Mike, and boy, that was a heads-up play by number 95.
That touchdown reception was big, but that reception was
bigger.
much bigger for the Arizona Rattlers because that just took away 6 points from Florida. You see Chad May coming back. He's going to pump to the slant and look for him deep, but his receiver falls down up here. And he's lost. But then the pressure gets to him, and he almost coughs it up. Or he does cough it up. But a heads-up play by Ingram.
So Kelvin Ingram, the third-year man out of Oklahoma State, having a good game. So far for these Rattlers, 5.5 minutes to go now. Another pump fake, comes back, Hunky Cooper. Catches at the 10, the forward progress should bring it back to the 10-yard line. As soon as he touched the football, he was drilled immediately by Jarek Bledsoe.
Well, what they're figuring, or what Arizona's figuring, is because they have 10 yards and it's second down, they're thinking Florida's going to jump the stop route, and when they do, they can run by them. But Florida's playing off and giving them a cushion, thus, you know, the stop and go does you no good.
Danny White, when he left Arizona State, he was the NCAA all-time passing leader. Went on to set 22 records for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, we talked to Danny White earlier today, too, about the fact that he had a chance to punt while he was waiting his turn behind Roger Staubach in Dallas. But now, you know, is it tougher? Does that make it tougher as a head coach knowing that Donnie Davis is sitting there kind of chomping at the bit, even though he's accepted the chance for Chad May? He still has to sit there, and it's kind of tough for any athlete to sit and watch.
It's tough, but Donnie Davis is very unselfish, and he wants what's best for this team.
4X out, on one, ready?
That seems to be the character of this entire Arizona football team. Winning comes first. Hey, look at this. The receiver that time was number 90, Oscar Sturgis.
Well, it was Cedric Tillman, and what Cedric Tillman runs right there is a 4 route. You heard 74. 4 route is a deep curl in. It's about a 12 to 14-yard curl in. Chad May gets the ball there on time and on target, but the defensive back comes up and hits Tillman in the back, and he coughs it up. Doesn't complete the pass.
So DeFelice.
Mike, I've had a chance to play with Richard DeFelice, and he can make a kick from this far.
Well, it's going to be from 60 yards if he makes it. And he won't get a chance. Davis comes back to DeFelice. DeFelice has some running room. Oh, DeFelice fails to get up to the 10. He got to get up to the 15-yard line for the first down. So Florida Bobcats now will have good field position. But before they do, we're going to take a timeout here from Phoenix, Arizona. 3:34 to go. It's still 16-10. Surprisingly low score from Phoenix. .334 to go. The Florida Bobcats, 4-game losing skid. They only trail by 6. And they have some good field position right here inside the 10-yard line. Mcnair, 8 of 14, 81 yards and a touchdown and an interception. That's Jim Jensen, along with Hardy, both a couple of former Miami Dolphins. Jensen getting the final word in there.
Let's go right, let's go right. Let's go right, strip, X-back, 59, X-option, wing slant out. On one, ready? Yeah.
X option. Curtis Caesar's going to come down here and have a chance to run a post or corner, and you got to.
Mcnair steps up in the pocket. Oh! Had his man Caesar, but Caesar fell. Incidental contact. Caesar talking to the official in the back of the end zone as Doggett was covered. Tonight, following our game, and then all of this week, it's the Calgary Stampede, where the world meets the West. World-class rodeo events, including the bull riding, wild horse events, and chuck wagon races. ESPN2 showcases this event all week long, beginning tonight to following the arena football game. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. And right now, the Bobcats are trying to make a little stampede of their own here in Phoenix. Inside the 10, trailing by 6. About 2.5 minutes to go. Mcnair steps it up, sees some room, cuts back. Mcnair's going to take it in for the touchdown. Fred Mcnair.
Good job, man. Good job. Fred Mcnair is a great athlete. He's a big, physical quarterback that can make runs like that. You see him come back to pass. You know, it almost looks like it was a design draw play to the quarterback because he took his third step and he came to the line of scrimmage.
So Fred Mcnair using his legs that time. Chris Gardner back on the field with a chance to snap the tie, which he does with ease. A walk in the park for number 5, Gardner. 2 plays, 9 yards for the Bobcats. And right now, the Bobcats up on top, 17-16 for the first time here in Phoenix tonight.
Mike, here's another reason Fred Mcnair ran the ball. We're going to look at Curtis Caesar here and Cecil Doggett. Now, Cecil Doggett has got pretty good coverage on him right here, I would say. I mean, he's able to control him and keep him, you know, from getting open in the back. No penalty on that one. No harm, no foul.
That's where all that weight training.
No blood, no foul.
Pays off with those strong arms. You grab onto the jersey and...
Well, you know, hey.
He must have thought the official was out for a cup of coffee that time.
If they don't see it, you got to do it. You know how many times they hold down there on the line and they don't get it called?
They say it in the lineman, though, on every play you can find holding as they get inside the shoulder pad. But that time, Doggett was holding him. He didn't let go.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. But like I said, you know, if they don't see it, it's great coverage. I don't know how they didn't see it, though.
Exactly. That's my point.
Holy moly.
Well, we're just joking, of course. Cecil Doggett, one of the best in the AFL.
He is good, but Caesar's good, and, you know, what can you say, Mike? I don't know.
Everybody's good.
That's right.
You're just a nice guy.
Yeah.
You're afraid I'm ripping on these guys.
No, I don't think you are, but I'm not going to rip on the guy for...
I'm just saying that everybody holds, but sometimes you got to let go. All right, Gardner. High off the net. Hunky Cooper. Oh, Hunky's got some running room. Look out, Hunky! Oh, Chris Gardner, the kicker, saved the touchdown.
Yes, he did, and I cannot wait to talk to Hunky Cooper after the game and let him be reminded that he was tackled by a kicker. Oh, this is going to be fun. No, really, this is a good return by Hunky Cooper. Look how he uses his blocks to find his lanes. And then the kicker does his job, and he gets in his way. And if he doesn't tackle Hunky Cooper, what he's done is he's slowed down Hunky Cooper, allowing the other guys that we're going to make the stop behind him.
Well, Hunky with 13 touchdowns. 1 on kickoffs. He gets 30 on that one, though. As we're under a minute and a half to go, the ball over the midfield stripe for Chad May. He's gone the distance so far, and Bernard Edwards almost had the INT, but another penalty flag down back inside the 25-yard line.
Well, from where that flag came...
An illegal defense, outside rush, number 98.
It would appear to me, Mike, that it might be an outside rush. And I'm right.
Well, you're right on top of it.
You can never be wrong if you do it that way. If you look on the left side of your screen, number 98. Well, Mike, I'm sorry. I'm a little confused.
Well,
I forgot to write left on my left hand and right on my... It was the right side of your screen.
I think it goes back to what we're talking about. I think, really, if you look hard enough, you can find holding on every one of the linemen. So you're excused. We approach the minute mark here in the first half. May, it's complete. Scheckstader, trying to stay on his feet. But then Darren Hughes came over and got one last shot, but Scheckstader goes down on the 10-yard line. We're in the Snake Pit, America West Arena in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. The 50-yard indoor war. Mike Gleason sitting alongside Mike Hall, the longtime AFL veteran, who is suiting up back in the inaugural year. Florida in the white, Arizona in the black here in their home black uniforms.
1-2, ready? 2.
And if you tuned in late, Chad May out of Kansas State. He's come off the bench the last 3 or 4 games. He got the start, his first start of the '99 season. He's gone the distance, but they trail now by a point. Penalty flags. Bo Kelly gets up close to the red zone, but again, 2 or 3 penalty flags litter the field.
We're going to have an offsides right there, Mike, on number 65. I think it was 65.
Offside, number 65,
yes, it was.
Florida.
Fritz Fakehair.
Out of Iowa. You know, Eric Miller used to wear that number. Eric Miller, of course, from the Miami Hurricanes. He was in On Any Given Sunday, that movie, and now he's back making some other movie.
Yeah, he went to another movie. It's actually a movie that's about the strike season in the NFL, and they're filming it up in Baltimore.
Who's doing that one? Not Oliver Stone again, is he?
No, I don't think so. I'm not real sure, but he was also in a movie called The Waterboy that was out not too long ago with Adam Sandler.
Ta-da, that leaves it wide open to say that so was my buddy Mike Holt.
Hey, well, you know, hey, whatever.
Except you took a shot.
Say more, though, Mike. Come on.
You look good when Adam Sandler flattened you. Oh, Kelly, he coughs up the football. He got down to about the 2, and he dropped it on the rug, and there's some of the turnovers that have been going against Florida. No indication yet. Was he down? The Bobcats say no, but the officials, they keep the clock running.
After Bo Kelly fumbles the ball, nobody has control over it. And fortunately for the Rattlers, Matt Eller's right there to pick it up. Florida has a golden opportunity right here to really extend their lead going into halftime and make it difficult for the Rattlers, but Matt Eller's right there with a heads-up play to pick up the ball.
That's right, absolutely. Well, the officials called the timeout. They're conferring down on the 5. But the call has been made that it was not a fumble. It was down. Coming up at halftime, we'll go to the ESPN News Studios, check out the All-Star festivities. And good news for Garrison Hurst. And, of course, San Francisco
the clock is
also
correct.
take a good look at Lawrence Phillips.
The clock will start on the ready for play.
Lawrence Phillips going over to NFL Europe, playing for the Barcelona Dragons. Bruce Hardy, the first high school player ever to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated back in 1973. Now he's watching his team trying to hold the Rattlers from scoring. 8 seconds to go. Made! Oh, Calvin Sexnader pulls it in for the touchdown. That's the second for the former Washington State Cougar. And it's a backbreaker for the Bobcats. 2 seconds to go, and the Rattlers take the lead once again.
Calvin Sexnader gets the touchdown because of second effort. We're going to take a look at him here coming across the middle. Now, Lawson plays good defense on him, but Sexnader just keeps working and coming across the field, and he opens up for Chad May.
22-17, Sexnader with his 10th touchdown of the season. Dave Felice back on the field. And he puts it right down the middle. They go 4 plays, 24 yards, and $1.39. And at the end of the game, we'll be selecting the Tenacton Ironman Player of the Game. And at the end of the season, Tenacton will be making a donation to the 1999 Special Olympics on behalf of the Ironman Player of the Year. Nice shot right there of the Snake Pits. And your Ironman update, Barry Wagner of Orlando, sitting on top at this juncture. Wagner won it 6 years in a row. Stepped aside for Chad Dukes last year, although I'm not so sure he stepped aside. I think some people thought that Wagner might have won it again, or at least Barry thought he did. And Barry wants it back, though. But Barry Wagner is one heck of a football player. I'll say that for him.
Well, we had a chance to watch him yesterday, Mike, and I tell you, he just does it in every facet of the game if it's on special teams, defense, offense. He's there to play. He told me yesterday, he says, you know, I'm here to make big plays. I'm here to win for my team. And he does. He just steps right in there and makes huge plays.
Returned a kick for a touchdown. Returned an interception for a touchdown a week ago. That's Cleveland Pratt, 5'7", 175-pounder out of Edinburgh State. Pratt is the #1 return man, averaging about 18 yards on a return. 2 seconds to go, 23-17. This kind of reminds me of that Milwaukee game at the end where they kicked it to Steve Pappan and he took it back for the touchdown.
With a guy like Cleveland Pratt, I wouldn't put it past him. But I tell you, you go back to that fumble, and how huge was that right now? You know, if Florida recovers it and takes it down and scores, it's a totally different ball game.
Calvin Sexnader now with only 3 catches for 33 yards, but 2 of his 3 have gone for touchdowns. They keep it away from Pratt, or at least low. Pratt has it at the 10 with plenty of time to run, but there's the horn. sounding the end of play. And these two teams are going to head for the locker room, and it's been a good first half, not a high-scoring first half. But the Bobcats, they said they had to play tough for the first 30 minutes, and they have, as Fred Mcnair took it in for the touchdown. The defense playing well, but St. Standard with 2 touchdowns, and it's 23-17, Rattlers at the break.
Take risks, and people are bound to talk. Television that's edgy and fearless. Most daring. Television's boldest risk taker.
As the pilot flies through the night sky, the helmsman steers a course that is true. The landing signal officer checks the approach. The weather crew keeps an eye on the storm. The air traffic controller directs every move. The air boss orders a clear deck. The captain gives the final word. And the plane safely lands on board USS Enterprise. In the Navy, no journey is ever made alone. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
Got milk?
Well, that's a silly question.
If you've already got milk, get out the Hershey syrup.
See, now this commercial I like. Oh, yeah.
From the worldwide leader in sports, this is ESPN News.
Hi, everybody, and we welcome all of you watching Arena Football, the Bobcats and the Rattlers on ESPN2, along with Trey Wingo. I'm Dave Feldman. We'll keep you company for the halftime, beginning with more baseball.
Other big news outside of the Thunderdome being going on in Arizona between the Rattlers. Let's take a look now at the National League starting lineup. Barry Larkin is in there batting .312. Hard to believe, but this is Larkin's 10th All-Star appearance. In right field will be Larry Walker, despite missing those 19 games to start the season. He still had 25 home runs, and he's .382 for the year. Then, of course, in center, who else but Sammy Sosa leads the major leagues with 32 homers at the break. And number one, first base, Mark McGwire, his 11th All-Star appearance, batting .266, but he does have those 28 home runs. Meanwhile, Matt Williams will be at third. This is his 5th All-Star appearance. He's hitting .318. Jeff Bagwell will be the DH. Bruce Bochy did inquire as to whether or not McGwire could DH and Bagwell could play first, but the league said no. Since McGwire was voted in as the All-Star at first, he must play first, so Bagwell will be DHing. It's his 4th All-Star appearance. Remember, he started his career in Boston. Then, of course, Mike Piazza catching. This will be his 7th All-Star appearance. Jeremy Burnett's making his first appearance at the All-Star game, and as we'll find out a little later, he's making the most of it. And then, of course, at second base, Jay Bell. This will be his 2nd appearance, hitting .286, but surprising power from Jay Bell so far this season.
The American League looks like this, Trey. Ken Lofton will hit first. He leads the American League in runs scored. Nomar Garcia-Parra will be at shortstop and hit 2nd. He's 3rd in slugging percentage in the American League. Ken Griffey Jr., 9 straight Golden Gloves. Manny Ramirez will hit 4th. 3rd most RBI at the All-Star break ever. He's got 96. Jim Tomei will hit 5th. He's batting .408 with 16 RBI in his last 15 games prior to the All-Star Classic. Hitting 6th and playing 3rd base, Cal Ripken Jr. 17 consecutive All-Star appearances. The DH is Rafi Palmeiro in the top 5 in the AL in batting average, RBI, and slugging percentage. Hitting 8th, the catcher, Ivan Rodriguez. Career-high 17 stolen bases already. And hitting 9th, the second baseman, who's 2nd in runs scored in the AL, Robbie Alomar, the pitcher, to the surprise of no one, the Red Sox ace playing at home, Pedro Martinez.
And Dave, Kurt Schilling, the National League All-Star, he was not pitching, by the way, in the Home Run Derby. Fenway Park sold out. Everybody there, Ken Griffey Jr., McGuire, Sosa, ready to flex their muscles. Second batter up, hometown hero Nomar Garciaparra. And Nomar, it's a home run in his first swing, much to the delight of the Fenway faithful, but that would be the only one Nomar would put out of the contest. Fast forward to the biggest guy in the stadium, Mark McGuire, gets it going. Oh, that's not coming back. Off the top of the light tower. Are you kidding me? 470 feet. Even Sammy Sosa impressed with that effort. And then Mac just went off. Here's Chris Berman.
Onto the Massachusetts Turnpike. Hello, New Hampshire.
Mac had 13 in the first round, but he couldn't make it to the finals. So Jeremy Burnitz and Ken Griffey Jr. in the finals. And Jeremy Burnitz turns on this one. He hit 2, so the plate was now set up for Ken Griffey Jr. Needed 3 to win. How would he do? Jr. with 2 outs to go, and that is a home run. Ken Griffey Jr. wins the Home Run All-Star Derby for the second straight year, and that guy won $1 million because of it. So congratulations, Ken Griffey Jr. wins the Home Run Derby. Arizona Rattlers and Bobcats, arena football coming up. Enjoy.
Can't get enough peanuts? Get a payday. Sweet caramel and tons of salty peanuts.
In a battle against athlete's foot, you gotta have boom, tough-actin Tinactin. Nothing stops the itching, burning, and cracking like clinically proven Tinactin antifungals. They're so tough, they can even prevent athlete's foot. Get boom, tough-actin Tinactin.
How would you like to call anyone across America for just 8 cents a minute? Well, now you can. Because when you dial 1010-321, it's just 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes. All day, every day. No monthly fees, no signing up. Just dial 1010-321 and calls will appear on your regular bill. At just 8 cents a minute, now you can stay even closer to the people you want to talk to the most. So remember, to get 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes, just dial 1010-321.
Don't try this with Gojo or Fast Orange. Only new Castrol Super Clean Hand Cleaner removes dirt and grease without water and without towels. Maybe those other cleaners should throw in the towel. New Super Clean Hand Cleaner.
Stuart and I get the playoff picture back from the darkroom when we come back. We're clear. The prompter's going too fast. I can't keep up.
Come on, snap the teleprompter. Shoot.
My throat, I can hardly...
Give him some tea. Give him some tea.
Cut me. Cut me, Lou.
Come on, baby. Come on. Snap out of me. Don't be a lollipop. Get out there. Come on. Tonight's your night.
Well, without question, these days, the word on everybody...
Sports Center. Mornings, 6:30 and 11. Only on ESPN.
Halftime in Phoenix. The Arizona Rattlers getting a late first-half touchdown to regain the lead, but the Florida Bobcats are hanging tough. It's 23-17 at the break. This Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 Pacific on ESPN2. Friday night fights that come to you from Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. A 12-round USBA super middleweight title bout. The champion, Brian Brannon, against the challenger, Demetrius Davis. Plus, all the classic fight footage and the latest boxing news. That's Friday night fights. Coming up Friday night on ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network, Go.com. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. It's halftime, and we'll have more halftime festivities coming up right after this. 23-17, Arizona.
Serve 2000 brings you the fastest way to get on the internet, all for 100 hours free. Unmatched services, unbeatable price, only $9.95 a month. CompuServe 2000, the best features, the best price. CompuServe 2000, the value leader in internet access. Call this toll-free number now and get your free CompuServe 2000 startup kit and 100 hours free. That's 100 hours free. Call now.
Here's how you can more than double your current life insurance coverage without paying 1 penny more than you are now. Call Best Quote. We'll prepare a free rate comparison of 5 top-rated term life policies that meet your specific needs. Here's a sampling of the huge savings Best Quote has recently uncovered. If that's less than you're currently paying, call Best Quote today for your free rate comparison. There's no obligations and no hassles. Simply the best insurance at the best rates from Best Quote. No salesperson will ever call you.
A great tradition reborn on ESPN.
Wimbledon champ Pete Sampras and the rest of the U.S. team are armed and ready to take on Patrick Rafter and the boys from down under. The U.S. takes on Australia in the Davis Cup. Coverage begins Friday at 2 on ESPN.
Halftime in the Snake Pit, 23-17, the Rattlers. Well, they're shaking that Rattler right now at the end of the first half, but look at the Bobcats hanging tough. A year ago, the Arizona Rattlers, when these two teams met, they were 4-0. The Bobcats at 0-4. Bobcats came in and upset them. We talked to some of the Bobcats today, and you could tell that they weren't fearing these guys. And now they're hanging tough. 30 minutes to go. What do they have to do? I mean, Bruce Hardy, kind of a homecoming for him.
We talked to Bruce Hardy. We talked to players, and they said, we're not afraid of the Arizona Rattlers. Look what they did to them last year. They were 0-4. The Rattlers were 4-0. They threw out all the stats, came in here and beat them. That's what they're going to do tonight. And hopefully, and they're staying close with them right now, Mike, and hopefully they can do that in the second half and have a chance to win. Now, Bruce Hardy said all we want is to have a chance at the end to win the ball game. And right now, they're putting themselves in that situation.
Well, Bruce Hardy told us that they have to stay tough for the first 30 minutes to keep their confidence up. Danny White says most of the points are going to be scored in the second half. Here's the first half highlights.
Well, Calvin Ingram made a statement early. He scored 2 touchdowns in the first half. He's ready to play. And then Fred Mcnair, he's keeping this team in the game. Doing it here by himself, scrambling for about 10, 12 yards for the touchdown. Now, sometimes it pays to be lucky, not just good. And here are 2 plays, one with Chad May fumbling the ball and Ingram catching it and advancing it so it's not a safety or a touchdown. And then the fumble there late in the second quarter that could have really changed this ball game around, but the Rattlers recovered it.
Good play by Eller there, jumping on the football. Actually, I thought they called it down, but Eller did recover it. I thought the Bobcats had it. You look at the first half stats brought to you by the U.S. Navy. And the Bobcats, their first 8 plays, they picked up 23 yards. On their second 8 plays, they picked up 71.
Well, they really did, pick it up in the second quarter, and they've made this game a tight game, and it looks like they've got their offense rolling on full cylinders now, and maybe things are going to change in the second half.
Cooper for Arizona, 93 total yards. And we're almost ready to get the second half underway here from Phoenix. And you look at the series, the Arizona Rattlers, so they're 4-0 at home this year, but in the series they're 5-2, 4-1 here in the desert. And that series goes back, I should point out, way back when they were the Miami Hooters. So Arizona will kick it off to number 2, Cleveland Pratt, here in the second half, and it's going to be very, very interesting. These Bobcats have taken care of the football. I mean, the last 4 games, they've turned it over 12 times, which is an amazing number considering the fact that if you turn it over once or twice, chances are you're going to lose the football game. Off the bar. Boy, that's going to be tough to play. Oh, my gosh. Wide open. Henderson out of Michigan. And he's in the end zone, and it's a touchdown for Arizona. And boy, oh, boy, what a way for the Rattlers to open up. Bruce Hardy is on the field. He's in the end zone arguing the play. But that hits the bar. It's a live football.
Right. What Bruce is arguing, I believe, is he's saying the Rattlers were inside the 5-yard line before the ball hit the ground. Now, if they are, it's a penalty. But you see the ball hit the ground right there before anybody crosses that 5-yard line. That is a legal play and a touchdown for the Rattlers.
Well, the 4-year man out of Michigan, Tony Henderson. Hardy continues to plead his case. You know, we said Henderson could be a backup fullback, but I don't think he counted on scoring 6 points that way here tonight. Gabe Felice. And he opened up the first half by missing an extra point. That was almost a duplication. He missed it to the right side again, so that's his second miss. Let's take another look.
Like I was saying, they're not allowed to go inside that 5-yard line before the ball hits the ground, but it clearly hit the ground. It came straight down off the post and then bounced up in the air.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cecil Doggett is the first to cross, but it does hit the ground before
right here, you're going to see this 5-yard line. And now let's see if anybody crosses that before the ball hits the ground. Nope, not at all.
Not even close, really.
You know, and, you know, maybe Bruce didn't see it hit the... And then Doggett, look at their defensive back, Mr. Everything for their defense, come in and just plow through there, allowing for the recovery of the ball.
Well, he's had so many frustrations and disappointments this year that sometimes frustration can get the best of you. Well, he's a great guy, Bruce Hardy.
He really is, and I think probably what happened is like I said, he just didn't see it come straight down like it did.
Well, he comes into Phoenix. They're hanging tough, 23-17, and just like that, it's 29-17. And Dave Felice, deja vu. He's back to kick it again. Pratt back to receive, and this one goes over the net and into the stands. Boy, Dave Felice really got all of his leg into that one. So that'll bring it out to the 5-yard line, and Fred Mcnair will go back to work. He has to pick up where they left off. We mentioned during the halftime, their first 8 plays, they picked up 23 yards. In their second 8 plays, they picked up 70. Actually 71 and a couple of touchdowns. So here comes Fred Mcnair back on the field. The numbers after the first 30 minutes. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's his 11th interception he's thrown so far this year. Quickly. Hughes, Darren Hughes gets out to the 10, maybe over the 10. Pick up a 5, maybe 6 on the first play. So Darren Hughes, son of Carson Newman, he's had a touchdown in 6 of his last 9 games. Came in averaging 13 yards a catch. Sometimes I think that's even a more important statistic. How many yards you can pick up every time you touch the football. Hughes has caught 4 for 36 so far. Well, Doug Kay is out of the field right now, talking to the official.
I'm not real sure what the mix-up is.
Looks like Cecil Doggett might be a little bit shaken up at the 20. One of the trainers is looking at him. Cedric Walker's over to confer with him. I think his right leg, or looks like he's a little bit groggy.
Well, here's what happens in that situation. They don't want to lose Cecil Doggett. He's too important. So in order to keep him in the ballgame, because they stopped the clock because of an injury, they've got to call timeout in order to keep him in the ballgame. If not, he's going to have to come out and take a play off.
Well, Danny White now is obviously concerned about his well-being. He asked him if he wants to come out. Doggett said no. So Danny White takes his first time out here in the second half. So we're going to take a break. 13:29 to go. It's now the Rattlers after the bizarre play, 29-17 over Florida.
Sweating like crazy. You got TV cameras all over you. The last thing you want is this white clumpy thing running down your arm. It's just rude.
We asked some of the hottest pros under the sun to switch antiperspirants.
Green visible solid? What's that? I would assume it goes on clear, but I'm not sure I believe that.
When your body heats up, Degree Invisible Solid releases extra protection with a clear difference.
Right there. See, there's no white stuff. The harder I work, the harder it works. No flaking, no funk, no Klingons.
Degree Invisible Solid works hard but never shows.
After the match, there's a ton of girls. You gotta be cool.
Hey, I'm down here on Pratt Road to find out what these fellas think about Bird Plus for clean conditioning. Grant, you're about to get shampooed. Oh, all right, now just gently lower him on back down. Woo! This is Pert Plus, man. It's got water-based conditioning. Whoa! The old kind, you couldn't hold someone upside down. Changing America one frat house at a time. Woo! Yeah! So, ladies, what do you think about Jake's hair? Does it look good?
Sweet. I love it.
I bet it's manageable, too.
Probably. That's Pert Plus for clean conditioning. Come on, let us wash your hair. We change your life.
Introducing a radically new SUV, the new Nissan Xterra. Everything you need, and nothing you don't.
Arizona Rattlers riding the quest of a 6-game winning streak. 4 of the 6 have come on the road, but they are back home in the Snake Pit tonight, leading 29-17. And the Florida Bobcats with the football, their first possession of the second half. And Fred Mcnair ready to go back to work. Mcnair coming off his best season ever last year. 60 touchdowns. He had 40. Now he has 42. And he's looking for 43. Oh, what a catch. Great concentration by Darren Hughes.
That was incredible by Darren Hughes because Cecil Doggett did have great coverage on him. But what Fred Mcnair does well is he throws the ball inside where Cecil Doggett cannot see it, but only Darren Hughes can. And he turns inside and catches the ball just out in the outreached hands of Cecil Doggett. You're going to see it right there. He just kind of leans into him. It's just a fantastic throw by Mcnair, and also a nice catch by Darren Hughes. You know, they might be picking on Cecil Doggett there because he's banged up a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely looked groggy before that last time out for the ball in the red zone inside the 5. Little pitch to Pratt. Pratt still on his feet. Pratt, hits the wall at the 1. And Curtis Caesar signaling the touchdown, but I don't think he got in.
No, I don't think he got in, but that was a nice run by Cleveland Pratt. We're going to take another look at it here. He comes in motion. And the Arizona defense just swarms over. You see Hunky Cooper step up and to slow him down a little bit. That allows Doggett and Bob McMillan to come over and make the hit before he gets in the end zone. Hunky Cooper was slowing him down on that one.
Great job of Arizona getting a lot of black jerseys over by the goal line.
Goddamn, let's go. 0-1.
Yeah, the Bobcats rushing for the season 16.3 tonight. They've almost reached that. Here he goes again. Pratt, he's in for the touchdown. Boy, he built up some steam, and as soon as he touched the football, you could tell that his momentum would take him over the goal line into the end zone.
Well, it's so important to have a nice running game when you get down in the 1- and 2-yard line, because every telecast we talk about how tough it is to throw down there. And if you can't run the ball, you're not going to score a lot. See Pratt come along in motion. It's good blocking is what it is what clears it. And then once he has that full head of steam, Walker has no chance to stop him.
Yeah, Terrence Wisdom got his 304-pound frame on the defender, number 99. Cleveland Pratt with 3 receiving touchdowns. That's his 2nd touchdown running the football this year. Gardner, yes, Gardner is good. So now the Bobcats strike back. They are hanging tooth and nail with these Rattlers, 29-24.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too. And Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
We're in Phoenix on ESPN2. We appreciate you joining us because we have a whale of a game, 29-24. The Florida Bobcats at 3-8, and they are hanging with these Rattlers. And the last scoring drive, just 2 minutes and 13 seconds. They go 45 yards after 4 plays. So they settled down nicely after a tough break to open up the second half where they were set to receive, and it hit the crossbar. Cleveland Pratt couldn't get his hands on it, and Tony Henderson wound up scoring the touchdown for Arizona.
Well, Mike, what that drive tells me about Florida is even though they're 3-8 and probably out of the playoffs, they're not going to quit when things get bad. They're here to win a football game, and they're not going to quit on their coach, Bruce Hardy.
And speaking of settling down, Mcnair was 3 of 8 for 23 yards. Since then, he's 7 of 9 for 103 yards. And a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Hunky Cooper, he likes to score some touchdowns in this department, but he's dragged from behind as he tried to reverse his field, and Cleveland Pratt makes the stop for the Bobcats. And Chad May will be at the 13-yard line, a gain of 19 on that return.
Well, you mentioned that Fred McNair's 7 of 9 right now. That's because the line is protecting for him. They're giving him more time to get the ball down the field.
Pretty good numbers there for Mr. May.
Right, X back, rip 10 on one. Ready? Come on, baby, let's go, Will.
10 of 17, 3 touchdowns already. May came in with 13 touchdowns. But again, he had 3 in the fourth quarter against Nashville alone. Chad May looks right, comes back left. Randy Gatewood was there, but thrown a little bit too wide. Phoenix, Arizona, America West Arena, the home of the Arizona Rattlers. Mike Leeson sitting alongside Mike Hold, the longtime warrior of the AFL. And we are watching the Arizona Rattlers wearing their home black, trying to move to 9-2. You have Iowa at 9-3, Albany at 9-3. Tampa yesterday at ESPN, we saw them beat Orlando. We go to 8-3. And of course, we are in the stretch drive. We're heading for playoff time. The top 8 teams in the league will taste the postseason. Second down for Chad May and company. Ball at the 12. May checks in. It's complete forward progress. We'll bring it back to about the 18.
Well, what they did there is they came back right to the same play that they ran the last time. Reason being is because they're playing off of Calvin Sexnader. You see, they're giving him about a 10-yard cushion, so they come back to him. The first play before that, he threw to Randy Gatewood, who was covered, and Sexnader was wide open, so Danny White saw that. Of course, the smart thing to do is to come right back to him.
Laser 10.
And you heard laser 10 out of Chad May. They're throwing short again. Now, the outside guys have the option to go deep on this because they're being pressed in coverage.
Twin receivers on the top of your screen. They come right back to Sexnader. Good for the first down inside the 25. He's down to about the 23. Now, the Bobcats think they have the football, and they do. Sexnader trying to wrestle away for extra yardage. I thought the whistle blew, but obviously I was wrong. And the Bobcats play into the whistle. That's the way football players are taught, and they come up with the football.
Take a look at it here, and we're going to see if he was down. Well, no, it looks like the ball comes clean, Mike. I think that's a nice call by the referees.
Well, the referees definitely do a great job in this game because this game moves so quickly.
Well, it does move quickly, and, you know, they're going to make mistakes, but, well, at a different angle, you know, it's tough to tell, but...
Well, Clarence Lawson, the rookie out of Utah, that's the 4th forced fumble he has caused so far this year. Very quickly, good hands by Bernard Edwards.
Great hands by Bernard Edwards because that ball was low and down at his shoelaces, and he goes down to catch the ball and get the first down.
Bernard Edwards, he teaches school, assistant coach in Fort Myers, Florida. Spent some time with the Arizona Cardinals after leaving Ohio State. Playing back in Florida. One of the first Florida players to move up to Columbus to play for John Cooper.
Right back, 58 wing and X cross. Don't worry, ready?
Mike.
Bernard Edwards had the game-winning touchdown in that win here last year. 6-yard. As time elapsed, right down Mcnair going to work. Working in the present. Oh, off the fingertips. That's Curtis Caesar.
We're gonna see the replay here. If you look right back there is where you've got the holding.
Number 95, Florida, be an 8-yard penalty, replay first down.
It was kind of a silly holding call because Fred Mcnair had stepped up in the pocket and was past the pressure, but the the offensive lineman was holding behind him.
Steve Brannon got the call. The holding call. Let's go back in the huddle. Listen once again.
Let's go right back, 56, X sideline. Don't worry, ready? Come on, y'all.
Curtis Caesar right here is going to run a sideline route over here, but you're going to have an in route right there.
Edwards was open here. They go the other way to Caesar. Penalty flag down. Gatewood defending on the play. It's complete down to the 15, just shy of it.
Illegal defense. Number 44, Arizona, out of the box too early.
That's Bob McMillan from the linebacker spot.
Well, that's the old out-of-the-box rule, Mike, that we see so often in this league. Linebackers, like we say, are not allowed to leave the imaginary box, which is 5 yards deep and as wide as the 2 defensive linemen. He can't go out of there until the ball's thrown. But it's tough, you know, and you're asking a guy to go out there and play physical, but yet stay in this confined area, and it's tough on those guys, but you got to call it. It'd make it tough if it wasn't. There's not a whole lot of room to work. If you've got guys dropping out in the flat, it's hard to complete passes.
Edwards in motion. Mcnair quickly. Oh, Kevin Jackson caught the football. Oh, this crowd is going crazy. Now the ground, you can't cause the fumble, but Randy Gatewood came up and slammed it to the ground, and actually Jackson, before he pulled in the pass, I don't know if we can take another look at this one, but Gatewood was actually holding on to him before he pulled it in right there.
Well, you know, I'm going to say, I don't know if this is a fumble or not. You make the call. But what I am going to say is Randy Gatewood makes one heck of a play on this. He reads this so well. This is just a simple screen right there, but Randy Gatewood reads it. Bernard Edwards comes in to block, but Gatewood's so fast that he's already, like you say, to the ball and breaking it up.
Yeah, good call, though. The ground can't cause the fumble. But, boy, you can hear the vocal crowd here in Phoenix. It's not easy to win here. Whoa! Mcnair is smothered. Sturgis is in on the play. Ingram's in on the play. McMillan's in on the play. Boy, they were all in there so quickly, they'd all have to get credit for that sack.
Holding number 75, Arizona.
Oh, the penalty flag goes against the defense.
Holding number 75, Arizona. Be an 8-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's Joe Birch out of Texas Southern.
Well, you don't see holding too much, Mike, by the defensive line. I mean, you see it in the defensive secondary a little bit, but he's the nose guard for Arizona, and you're isolated on him right here. Oh, I don't see that. I see him just getting stopped at the line of scrimmage. Well, okay.
He led this team in sacks in 97.
That was a strange one.
Into the shoulder in 98. Oh, what a great defensive play. Mcnair looking for Caesar, and Cecil Doggett diving at the last millisecond to knock it down.
That is game planning right there. They know that when they get down close, they like to run that corner route. Cecil Doggett, just through game prep through the week, sees it coming and makes a nice play diving out, because it's a nice throw by Fred Mcnair. He puts it right on the money.
How's that for technique, huh?
Wow.
DB coming up.
You know,
4 tackles, 2 pass, defended. Coming in, he had 15. Broken up passes. Boy, this crowd is loud. Mcnair steps up in the pocket, fires, and looking for Edwards, winds up a $50 souvenir for one of the Arizona fans.
Mike, right now the Rattlers are bringing the heat, and their defensive backs are covering Florida's receivers like glue. Every one of those guys was on the receiver so tight right there. Mcnair had nowhere to go with the ball. He had to throw that one away.
This is by far the loudest crowd I've heard so far in the games we've broadcasted. Mcnair now, here's the call.
59 X-stutter option, Mike. Right here, Caesar's going to come down, and he's going to stutter and go around the post of the corner. He's got a go route down here.
Mcnair, pump fake, comes back again. Oh, overshoots Caesar. Doggett covering on the play. They're now 0 for 3 in third down situations.
Well, I'll tell you right there, I couldn't even hear myself talk. It was so loud. But then again, Arizona's defensive backs are just playing well right now.
That's what it's all about. This is a very high-scoring lead, but when you need a defense to step it up, Arizona definitely stepped it up that time. So here comes Chris Gardner again. He already has one from 46. His longest in college at Michigan State was 52. This will be a 28-yarder. Bonaventure to hold. 3:58 to go. Up over the nets, but it's right down the middle, so Gardner has his second field goal. And with 3:52 to go, the Rattlers' lead has been cut to 2 again. It's the Rattlers 29, Bobcats 27.
In a battle against athlete's foot, you gotta have boom, tough actin tenactin. Nothing stops the itching, burning, and cracking like clinically proven tenactin antifungals. They're so tough they can even prevent athlete's foot. Get boom, tough actin tenactin.
What's it like to bite into a Wendy's Classic half-pound double with cheese? Man, this is weird. Wendy's, it's hamburger bliss.
Yeah, they stink. But with the new Sony Digital 8 Handycam, they've never looked better. With 3 times the color information and a sharper picture than VHS-C, what you live is what you get. 8mm has gone digital.
Well, Bruce Hardy wanted to hang tough for the first 30 minutes anyway, but right now 3:46 to go in the third quarter. 29-27. They're just 2 points behind the Arizona Rattlers. Bruce Hardy, his wife Joni, and 3 of his sons still live here in the Phoenix area. And his 4th son came down from the Washington area to watch this football game, as well as his folks came down from Utah, just in the corner of Utah, about 100 miles from Phoenix. So, boy, this would be a big victory for him if he could pull it out. Hunky Cooper picked it up at the last second. Here comes Hunky. He's got some running room over the 10. He spins 15, 16-yard line. ESPN's weekly countdown of the top 50 North American athletes continues this Friday with number 27, the NFL's greatest wide receiver, Jerry Rice. The NFL career record holder for points, touchdowns, and receptions by a wide receiver. Who would have thought when he was drafted out of the Mississippi Valley State for the 49ers that now every catch he makes next season extends his own NFL mark? That's coming up this Friday, 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Hunky Cooper keeping it down. No, he's going to pass it. Hunky. Nice touch. Shackstater. There he goes. His 3rd touchdown. Oh, what a nice touch by Hunky Cooper. Remember, he was a quarterback on the national championship team during his junior college years.
I talked to Hunky before, and I said, Hunky, is there anything special that you may do tonight? Any bag of tricks or anything like that? And he says, look for me to throw the toss pass. And there it is. Danny White has an endless number of I'm not going to call them gag plays, but trick plays or whatever that he'll go to. And one of them is that. And one of them was the 4th down that they didn't convert on.
Dave Felice. Back on the kick. And that time he drills it. Boy, the Arizona Rattlers, they have scored every which way. And Calvin Shackstater gets his 3rd touchdown. He had 4 in this game last year in a losing cause. And right now, as he pulls it in and rolls into the end zone, makes it Arizona 36-27 over the Florida Bobcats. Calvin Shackstater out of Washington State played his high school football in Fresno, California, Bullitt High School. Same high school that produced Rex Hudler, the former baseball player. And he got away from Fresno State, went up to Washington State. Hunky Cooper, boy, he does it all. Hunky Cooper played 6 different positions at UNLV, and we talked to Danny White, what this guy brings to the table.
Well, it takes a lot of pressure off the coaching staff, that's for sure, because players will listen to coaches only so often and so long before it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. But when they hear it from another player or players, it seems to make a difference. And Hunky's one of those guys that just, he wants to win championships, and he knows what it takes to win a championship.
And he certainly does. Cleveland Pratt with some running room. He's across the 20. In other words, what Danny White was saying, if you're not getting it done, Hunky Cooper will get in that huddle and let you know about it. Another penalty flag down on the field, back near the midfield stripe, in between the 20 and 25.
Not sure
Personal foul, number 10, Arizona.
Oh. Goes against the kicker.
Foul, number 10, Arizona. After the play, be an 8-yard penalty. First down.
So Richard Dave Felice.
Clarence Bledsoe knocks Dave Felice back about 5 yards. There you see it right there at the bottom of your screen. I think more than anything, Dave Felice was just a little embarrassed because it was a clean hit before the whistle blew.
Oh, that second one. You committed. Here they get caught. First down for Mcnair. Oh! And he finds his man. Nice job by Fred Mcnair. Avoiding the rush by Sturgis, and he completes the pass.
It was a nice job by Fred Mcnair because that route, now the pressure's going to get to Fred right here, but the route is a deep route, and he's got to wait on it. But with the decision he makes to come off to the secondary receiver, was why he's good.
He is good. He had 5 touchdowns in this game last year. Cedric Walker had 7 touchdown passes. Schechter had 4 of 13 receptions. Bernard Edwards had 4. They really lit it up a year ago, and as the Bobcats upset Arizona, trying to do the same here. Curtis Caesar inside the 10. Cedric Walker covering that time. And they're down to a minute 15. 36-27. Florida needs the touchdown. Now, Hardy was telling us that they've got to take care of the football. They got to get in the end zone last week against Orlando, a 34-27 loss, or 37-24 loss. They were inside the red zone, the 5-yard line, 4 or 5 times, and they came up empty.
If you get down there, Mike, in this game, because every possession is so important, and you don't score 5 times, you're not going to win football games.
First down. That's Caesar at the bottom of your screen. Here's Mcnair looking for Caesar. Ooh! Doggett on the coverage, flags down at the 10.
So Doggett. Of an illegal defense, number 2 Arizona, wrong linebacker rushing.
Well, we saw Bob McMillan leave the box. That time, number 2 Bo Kelly was the wrong linebacker to rush. So you talk about the rules of the AFL.
Okay, here's what the call is, all right? If you're split in, let's say this guy's you're split in right there. This is a linebacker that can rush right there, not this one right here. And because this is a split in, this one has to rush.
Did he rush?
No, he really didn't, but he got to the line of scrimmage, and I think that crossed that
neutral zone.
Crossed the neutral zone.
First down, pitch, Pratt. He already has a running touchdown. Oh, he's spun down by number 2, Bo Kelly. So Bo says, hey, I didn't rush last time, but I'll get you this time in the backfield. Kelly out of East Texas State. And Doug Kay says, hey, come on over here. We've just played 3 quarters of football. So there's a timeout here in the Snake Pit in Phoenix, Arizona. We have 15 minutes to go. The Rattlers trying to get to 9-2, but it has been easy. There's the score, 36-27 over Florida.
Mystery Men. Mr. Furious.
I'm unpredictable. I'm a loose cannon.
The Shoveler.
God gave me a gift. I shovel well.
The Bowler.
Let's do some carnage.
The Spleen.
What's this power?
Excuse me. Invisible Boy.
I'm invisible. Can you see me? Yes.
Wow.
Maybe you should put some shorts on or something if you want to keep fighting evil today.
Mystery Men. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, July 30th at theaters everywhere.
Want to make painting easier? Change your roller to a Wagner cordless power roller. There's less mess, less hassle, and less bending over. Because you control the flow of paint, so you can keep on rolling. Purchase a Wagner cordless power roller $9.49 and receive a free Wall Magic Accent roller kit. And turn your ordinary room into an extraordinary room. Pick up your Wagner cordless power roller $9.49 and free Wall Magic Accent kit today. Get a Wagner and get it done.
He works in Washington. She works in Washington. They get together on the weekends for as little as 2.5 cents a minute. Who says people in Washington are out of touch? Call Sprint at 1-800-PIN-DROP now.
Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. It's the owner's manual for the human mind. Buy your copy wherever paperbacks are sold.
We're heading down the stretch. The Arizona Rattlers, 36 points on that scoreboard, 27 to Florida, but some interesting numbers to look at right here, Mike.
Well, we're looking at the time of possession. If you see 9:22 for Florida, Why that's so important is because they're keeping the ball out of the hands of Kelvin Ingram and the rest of that high-powered Arizona offense. And if they do that, they have a chance to win.
Long, sustained drives. I don't know if there is really such a thing as a long, sustained drive in this league, but you don't want to score too quickly, as Danny White pointed out to us this afternoon. Here's that always so difficult red zone. Second down for Fred Mcnair. First play of the fourth quarter. Mcnair trying to lower the shoulder and get into that end zone. He's going to be just shy. Terrence Wisdom ran over there, number 99, and signaled a touchdown, but he's not quite in.
Well, when you've got a big physical quarterback like Fred Mcnair, you can do things like this. Now, this looked like just a straight run by him, but really, he had the option to throw the ball to the back corner of the end zone where he had a receiver running a route.
Mcnair this half, 5 of 10, 62 yards, 2 rushes, 13 yards and a touchdown for the ball game.
It is loud here in the Snake Pit, Mike.
Big third down play here, trailing 36-27. It's fake, little option play. Oh, just like the days of yesteryear in college.
Well, I'll tell you what, Fred is trying to keep his team in the game, and if it means him giving up his body, he's going to do it.
Well, they faked the handoff to John Moyer, who's playing fullback, and that's the second rushing touchdown for Fred Mcnair.
Well, it all starts on the line. They're just blocking well right now. And it was an easy run for Freddie. He made it look tough by diving in there, but he did have an open hole.
Looked like the old Oklahoma games against Nebraska. Running that option. Here comes Gardner. Bonaventure to hold. Chris Gardner is blocked.
You might as well stop.
Yeah,
you might as well stop, Carlos.
Yeah. You know, you get the juices flowing.
Now, most leagues like college, you can advance that. Yeah. You're going to get the point for it, but not in arena football.
But the bottom line is Fred Mcnair gets in the touchdown for the second time rushing. Look at the numbers now. It's a 3-point ball game in Phoenix.
If your replacement windshield isn't installed properly, you could have a slight leaking problem. That's why you should go to the pros. PPG ProStar certified technicians. Whether you need your windshield repaired or replaced, they're professionals who do the job right the first time. For PPG ProStar certified technicians, call 1-800-PPG-7011.
Don't try this with Gojo or Fast Orange. Only new Castrol Super Clean Hand Cleaner removes dirt and grease without water and without towels. Maybe those other cleaners should throw in the towel. New Super Clean Hand Cleaner.
Now get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 13 weeks at just 57 cents a day, a 25% savings.
Call now, 800-854-2200. That's 800-854-2200 for the Wall Street Journal.
If you have thinning hair, call 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now, and we'll send you our new 40-page hair loss update. It covers the most up-to-date information on Hair Club's most natural-looking, non-surgical hair development to date. You won't believe some of the hairstyles that you never thought you could have again that are now attainable through this method. So whether you're brushing your hair back, coming out of a pool, or just roughing it up, it looks and feels just like your own hair. Remember, call 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now and get your free booklet. That's 1-800-HAIR-CLUB.
ESPN2's presentation of Arena Football is brought to you by the U.S. Navy. Let the journey begin. And by Naya Pure Spring Water. Hungry for life, thirsty for Naya. And the sun is setting in the desert of Arizona. And earlier today, if you had been out there, you'd need some Naya Pure Spring Water because it was hot. But it's a dry heat, as they say.
Well, it is, but it's still hot. You know, we were in Florida yesterday, and that humidity was tough.
So Chris Gardner gets the extra point blocked, but here we go. It's a 3-point game. Gardner. Ooh, this one's low off the net. Hunky Cooper plays it clean. So he brings it up to the 15 right now, Mike. Let's revisit the keys to the game, starting with Florida.
Well, we said Florida doesn't want to turn the ball over. They've done it twice. And remember, Bruce Hardy says, if we're going to win, we can't do that. Try to rattle the Arizona QBs. They've done a decent job of putting pressure on and protect Fred Mcnair. Early on, they didn't, but they are now. and now Arizona take the air out of Mcnair. He's not thrown for a lot of yards, but he's done it with his legs. They are winning the turnover battle, and as far as executing offensively, I don't think Danny White would be extremely happy with that.
Hunky Cooper, 22 yards on the return. He has 122 return yards on the night. Chad May, that's Gatewood. Gatewood almost breaks it, but he puts the football on the carpet. And there's that turnover that Bruce Hardy was looking for. And that time, there's no doubt about it. It's going back to the Florida Bobcats.
Well, they came up short on a couple early in the first half, Mike, but now they're starting to capitalize. Randy Gatewood he's just trying to make extra yards, but he gets hit and loses the ball. He doesn't keep both hands on the ball. Anytime a guy's coming up to hit you, you've got to hold on to it with both hands.
So, Danny White. Boy, in arena football, the team's winning the turnover battle. Look at that, 81%, 50 and 12. And even the 12, the 15-12, that seems kind of high. I mean, you turn that football over time and time again, and you're just not going to come out on top of the scoreboard. I mean, it's amazing that the Bobcats, the last 4 games, have turned it over 12 times. 23 times in their 8 losses, only 2 times in their 3 wins. Well, that tells the story. Little flip. And this is what we were talking about at the top of the broadcast. That's Terrence Wisdom, the second-year man out of Syracuse. Did that last week for a 22-yard gain, and I'm surprised we haven't seen number 99 even more as Cecil Doggett goes down really for the second time. And Doggett came on to make the hit. And we're looking at Wisdom at 304 pounds here.
Well, you got to give Doggett credit for coming in and sacrificing his body on such a big guy.
Oh.
But he just takes a lick in there.
That's 5'9", 180 pounds versus 6'5", 304 pounds. And you saw his body just shoot off of Wisdom as they made contact.
We're going to take a second look at it. That is a big man running down the field. Wow.
Wow.
I don't even know that he even stopped him on that.
That centrifugal force really pulled him down. Terrence Wisdom, number 99. So there's a timeout here in Phoenix once again. Our score, 36-33. The 50-yard indoor war will continue after this.
So I get these 2 pieces of mail on the same day. One from my insurance company saying my premiums are going up. The other from this company called Progressive that says they have a smart new way to shop for auto insurance. All you do is call them up.
Progressive, can I help you?
They give you their rates plus the rates of several other companies.
Okay, let me get some information.
Now, excuse me if I sound cynical, but I wonder whose rates are going to be lowest. Wait, yours isn't the cheapest?
No, not this time. It looks like you could save over $200 if you went with...
What?
Hello? Hello?
You're an insurance company?
Hey, we know how hard it is to shop for auto insurance. A lot of times we're the lowest. Sometimes we're not. We just want you to have the information.
That's not what I expected from an insurance company. And then he said, well, maybe you should.
Find out the price and service you should expect. Call 1-800-AUTO-PRO or your authorized independent agent.
Back in the Snake Pits in Phoenix, Arizona. It's been a good ball game, 36-33, and Cecil Doggett being taken from the field right now, and he took a shot as he came up, and you knew a player of his caliber would not shy away from a 300-pounder like Wisdom, and he just threw his body in there, and he definitely got the worst of it.
Cecil's not afraid of anybody, and he did. He gave up his body on that one. It almost looked like his left knee buckled a little bit when on impact. This is a huge loss for Arizona because we've made an issue about the quarterback situation and losing Bonner and how important that is. Well, that guy right there, Cecil Doggett, is the quarterback of this defense, and you can't afford to lose him either.
2 passes broken up, 4 tackles. Cecil Doggett, they were lifting that left knee or left leg, so you might have been right on the money there. Seems like yesterday we saw them take Cedric Walker off this same field, nursing his knee. So hopefully Cecil Doggett will be okay, as he is having one heck of a season. 5th-year man out of West Virginia, 6 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 15 passes broken up coming into the game, and 56 tackles. So now that Arizona defense will have to play without their quarterback, and they are finding themselves in a very, very tough battle here. 36-33. First down for Fred Mcnair. Bobcats at 3-8 aren't going anywhere for the postseason, but boy, after a 4-game skid, they'd love to get something going. Caesar is complete inside the 10, another penalty flag down. Now they may be 3-8, but they've lost by an average of 11 points. And in this league, that's not a whole lot.
Well, it's not a whole lot. And, you know, you look back at the turnovers. We talk about the 8 games they lost. They turned the ball over 23 times. You're not going to win.
Number 4, Arizona.
Well, Doggett goes out, and right away, Carlos Brooks gets caught with a hold. Brooks, a third-year man out of Bowling Green. Boy, this guy, one time in college in the Mid-American Conference, had 3 interceptions and 10 tackles in the same game against Kent State. It's been a good one in Phoenix, America West Arena. Mike Gleason sitting alongside Mike Hold. And we hope you've enjoyed this one because we've certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. Florida in the whites, and they're threatening now at the 7-yard line. Arizona in their home black. I got to say this for the Arizona franchise. They do it up right here in Phoenix, though, from the pregame right down to the stretch. A great crowd here on this Monday night. Mcnair looking for the lead. Ooh, Hughes had it. He dropped the football, but it was a tough catch if he had made it.
Well, it was a tough catch because Randy Gatewood cut underneath and made Fred Mcnair throw the ball high. See McNair drop back to pass, and the ball's up. And that's because he sees Randy Gatewood cut across the face of the receiver. Well, the Rattlers have another guy down, Mike.
Looks like Ingram, who's had that great game. He already has a touchdown reception and
touchdown saving reception.
Saving reception. As he deflected pass from Chad May, he pulled it in the end zone and picked up 5, 6, 7 yards. Ingram, 55 catches a couple of years ago for Anaheim in '97, and he was the #1 tackler for Orlando last season. Nice acquisition for Danny White. Coming up Saturday, we'll be in Grand Rapids as the league's top-rated passer. And, of course, we're talking about Craig Cusick, hopes to lead the Rampage to their first-ever playoff berth against the talented and unpredictable Mustangs of Milwaukee, led by the versatile Ironman Gary Compton. One of the AFL's favorite. He is a warrior. That's Milwaukee at Grand Rapids, Saturday at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, Go.com. That should be a good one, as this one has been. So Kelvin Ingram, 6'5", 285 pounds, his third year out of Oklahoma State. He leaves. We just saw Cecil Doggett leave. And it's tough to take a player off. Obviously, his well-being is first and foremost, but the substitution rule makes it tough on a head coach.
Well, fortunately, it's tough to explain the substitution rule, and I'm not going to try, but fortunately, because it's early in the quarter, it shouldn't affect him much. When it does affect you is when it's late in the quarter or late in the game, and you've already made your substitution one time through, and you can't bring another guy back in. Then that's when Mike, that's when the backup quarterbacks start coming into play, linebacker and things like that.
And you talk about depth, any college or professional coach will tell you depth is the key, and it's something the fans don't look at that much. They say, hey, we got this guy back this year, this guy. But you need depth, and the depth, obviously, with 20 guys on the field, or 20 guys suited up here tonight, depth is one luxury that coaches don't have in this league.
No, 2 or 3 guys go down, and you're in trouble.
Second down from Mcnair and the Bobcats. Caesar in motion. Mcnair looking for Caesar. Ooh, he had it, and he dropped it. Cedric Walker covering for Arizona. Mcnair did a nice job of biding his time. Couldn't find Caesar open. He finally fired it, but Walker with a nice defensive play.
Well, I tell you what they do is they play zone coverage, and Walker waits for Caesar to come over, and he just catches him, so to speak. But what they're trying to do is pick on the guy that came in for Cecil Doggett, and that was Cedric Walker. But he accepted the challenge and knocked the ball down.
Florida, not very good, 1 for 4 tonight. They make this one, they're back to 50% though. Or under 50. Oh! I was going to say just under 50%, but it's totally superfluous anyway, because they went right back. And Walker, Caesar had it. Now the last two, Caesar's definitely one of the top players in this league. I mean, his numbers speak for themselves. But here's the second straight ball that I think he even would agree that he should have had.
Well, yeah, and I think he'll tell you, you know, not everybody expects to make that catch, but Curtis Caesar does. It was not a bad thrown ball because Fred threw it there on purpose because that way Caesar was the only one that could catch it.
23-yarder for Gardner if he makes it. And they can play it off the net. McMillan tries to bat it to one of his teammates. That's a live football. And the Rattlers should have it at about the 8-yard line. Indication, and the point goes the other way, so the Rattlers do have the football. So Gardner had 2 field goals, and that one would have tied the game. With 9:22 to go, we're going to take a timeout from Phoenix again. So while Chris Gardner thinks about it, we're going to take a timeout, and there's the numbers. 36-33.
Today,
in the Atlantic Fleet,
on board USS Enterprise, character was forged. Valor was commended. Minds were enlightened. Lessons were learned. Fears were conquered. Worlds were discovered. Honor was defined. Courage was found. Commitment was sealed.
Today on board USS Enterprise,
over 5,000 journeys began anew.
What did you do?
What did you do today?
Call 1-800-USA Navy. Let the journey begin.
The crowd. The feud. The crane. Arena football, where the fans are as pumped as the players. Watch it on ESPN and ESPN2.
So Chad May comes back on the field now with a 3-point lead. 9:22 to go.
What they're going to try to do here, Mike, is just get some room to work their offense. They're just going to run a short route. Hunky Cooper's going to come in motion around here, and all 3 receivers are going to run quick.
Lawson coming up to make the stop defensively for the Bobcats.
Well, Bob McMillan's coming back from a back injury. This is his first week back in 3. And the way he runs the ball right there, Mike, it doesn't look like his back's bothering him a bit. He's cutting all over the place downfield.
He's a gamer, as so many of these Arizona Rattlers are.
Right flip, 50 arrows, run a post. Hold on, ready?
Well, Chad May gets the start. Danny White says it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with a start after coming off the bench. He's hit 9 straight passes now for 55 yards, and there's going to be a timeout of the field. Danny White came out almost to the, he was on the 20, almost to the hash marks. So he definitely wanted to talk things over with his quarterback out of Kansas State. 3-point game from Phoenix. We're back after this.
This summer,
Bon voyage.
I love this train. These heroes could save your life. And this number could save you money and win you $50,000 in gold. Right now, every completed 1-800-COLLECT call is an automatic entry for a chance to win.
Now who you gonna call? Now who you gonna call?
See Wild Wild West in theaters and use 1-800-COLLECT to win $50,000 in gold. Oh.
Six and a half minutes to go before they put this one in the books, unless, of course, we head for overtime. Chad May, this is his football team tonight. Chad May coming off the bench 3 times. His numbers in his last 7 for 59 yards. 6'2", 240 pounds. He can stand back in the pocket, take a few hits. Oh, Eller jump. Eller moved on the right side of the offensive line, so that's going to be a costly penalty right now for Arizona.
False start. Movement prior to the snap. Number 79, Arizona, be a 3-yard penalty.
Right flip 50, X-post wire on 2-on-2. Ready? 2.
Arizona now with 7 penalties for 43 yards. Florida's done a great job tonight in that department, only 2 penalties for 12 yards.
Thank you.
So they've moved the clock. It was at 6:26. They're moving it back to 6:31. And so Chad May will regroup in the huddle.
Right flip 50, X-post wire on 2-on-2. Ready?
You know, Mike, I think Paul Tagliabue.
Right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to call the player. You got Calvin Schexnayder running a post from right here. Look for him to get the ball.
May takes him off of this one. Flags every place. Actually, the flag drops inside the 10, but then Schexnayder was simply tackled because I think Bledsoe felt like he was getting beat, so he just took him down.
Exactly, because he was beat. Calvin Schexnayder had run by him, and the next best thing to do, rather than giving up the touchdown, why not just give up 8 yards?
And so many defensive coaches will teach that. If you think you're going to get beat, just take them down. Take the penalty. But let's see about the first flag.
Pass interference, number 22, Florida. Holding, number 79, Arizona. Offset, replay, second down.
Offsetting penalties and the hold, obviously.
Well, you look here at the pass interference. Calvin Schexnayder just goes by him, and like you say, look at him. He just reaches down and grabs him by the shoes.
And obviously Bledsoe didn't know what was going on upfield, but the holding, number 79, Eller, that happened before the pass was even released.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, that's 2 crucial mistakes on Matt Eller, 2 penalties on Matt Eller that I'm sure Danny White's not happy with. 2 in a row, I add.
Second down and about a little over 8. Schexnayder, he'll pick it up. And he's pushed out of bounds just shy of the 5-yard line. So just like that, Chad May comes back and fires it to number 8, Calvin Schexnayder, who's really coming back into form his last 3 games.
Well, you know, after we talked to Danny earlier today, like he said, and I said earlier, he said, well, Calvin's not quite there, but I'm seeing shades of him. And he said that his speed's there, his hands are there, but where he's having trouble is getting off the line of scrimmage and getting off the bump coverage when the defensive backs come up. But he's done a nice job of it tonight.
He's got 7 catches for 92 yards, 3 touchdowns, so he's lit up the scoreboard here in Phoenix tonight. They looked at Hunky Cooper, but they come back the other way. Jamie Washell. Oh, what a play. Jamie Washell, the former Purdue Boilermaker. That's his 2nd catch of the season, and that time he gets in for the touchdown.
Well, that was all set up because Arizona runs the ball so well, and they had to respect the toss to Bob McMillan. But they fake it, and when they do, Florida totally pursues all the way across, leaving Jamie Washell pretty much wide open.
Dave Felice back on the field, shooting for 43 at a 10-point lead. And he's missed 2 of those, but not that time. We're going to keep it right here in the snake pit. 6 plays, 42 yards. That time using up 4.5 minutes anyway.
You see, all the flow goes this way. Everybody was completely faked out. And it just made it extremely easy on Chad May and Jamie Washell.
You know, I'm impressed in this league that when these guys, the bigger guys, the linemen, get an opportunity to catch a football, very rarely do you see them drop it.
No, you don't. You know why? Because linemen in this league are great athletes. They've got to be able to play on both sides of the ball, and it takes an extremely talented, athlete to be able to do that. I mean, you look at guys in the NFL, you don't see them playing both ways. I'm not taking anything away from their talent level by any means, but it is a unique player, a unique talent to play lineman in this league.
The numbers on Chad May in his first starts. Not bad. 171 yards, 4 touchdowns.
They're really nice, and if you throw those 3 drops early on in the first quarter on top of that, and they look that much better. Danny White really has to be pleased with the way Chad May stepped up tonight.
That was impressive, too. You know, of course, we talked about the fact that Chad May came in and threw 3 touchdowns against San Jose in the second half, the 3 in the fourth quarter against Nashville. But Danny White told us that Donnie Davis almost picked up the phone and called Danny White and said, hey, I think Chad May. Oh, good defensive play. Oh, he's right down there on top of it.
That was number 21, Jai Hill. And, you know, we talked to Danny earlier about Jai Hill, and he said, this is a guy that is a great player. I've got to find a way to get him in there, but with Schexnayder and Cooper and Gatewood, it's tough. But right there is an example of Jai Hill taking advantage of every opportunity that he gets.
And you can tell when he said it, he was so sincere.
Oh, yeah.
That he wanted to get some playing time for this guy. Jai Hill, a 4-year man out of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Nice play on the kick coverage team. Mcnair backed up into his own end zone. Looking, oh, Jai Hill couldn't quite get to it. The ball was deflected, and it hung up there. I think Mark Tucker out of USC got his hands on that one, and it hung up there for an eternity.
Well, what starts this off, and the reason that it does get knocked up, is because the Arizona defensive backs are playing great coverage. Fred Mcnair has nowhere to go with the ball there, Mike, and he's back there. He's got happy feet, and he's finally trying to get rid of it, and it gets deflected up in the air.
If Jai Hill could have got his hands on that football, he could have walked in backwards for the touchdown. Time running. 3.5 minutes, 43-33. They need to score. All along, Caesar, far sideline, driven out of bounds, driven into the wall at the 15. Brooks and Gatewood on the play.
Well, they get the first down. And even though he steps out of bounds, Mike, in arena football, the clock keeps running until the last minute. So they've got to hurry. They don't have a whole lot of time.
So the Florida Bobcats. They lost to Nashville in overtime. They lost to San Jose by 8. Lost 37-24 to Orlando last week. They've had a tough go of it. Not that time. Number 88. That's Curtis Caesar pulling in another touchdown. And Mcnair put that one right on the money.
That was really a nice throw by Fred Mcnair right there.
35 yards as long as 45 on the season. But this one came right when they needed it with 2:29 to go.
It sure does, and everything was working there. Nice route by Curtis Caesar, nice throw, and again, nice protection by the line for Florida.
You know, they say Caesar's hard to read because his hands, he doesn't pump his arms like most receivers do. He keeps his hands down on his sides right before he makes his cut. And obviously, he had Brooks beaten like a drum on that play. Gardner back on to kick it again. And Gardner drives it through. So they say you don't want to score too early, but the Bobcats needed the points that time. Curtis Caesar pulling in another touchdown pass. 49 yards, 3 plays, in a minute 45, 35 yards to Caesar.
You see another look here of the touchdown, and Fred Mcnair just puts the ball where it has to be.
He must have put a nice move on him because he had him beaten by 2 or 3 yards.
Well, we didn't see it right off the first part of the replay, but it must have been a nice move because, like you say, he had Carlos beat by quite a bit.
So it's 43-40. Keep in mind that the Bobcats missed an easy field goal earlier in the ball game. Hindsight's 20/20, but boy, here Bruce Hardy, you got to be thinking about it because Hardy's had some rough times this year. Inexperienced line, a lot of rookies, decimated by injuries. And he said, you know, he's not blaming the line because they have played their hearts out this year. But they just don't have the depth up there and the skill position, as we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Jim Jensen, the former Dolphin, he talked at the top of the broadcast, he said skill position-wise, he'd put his players up against anybody.
And he should, because they are as good as anybody in the league. I've said that, and a lot of people around the league have said that for the last couple years. But when you're getting injuries to your offensive line and your which are the same as your defensive line, it's going to hurt you pretty bad.
Ooh, just missed the bar. Hunky Cooper's had a big day returning kicks here tonight. He spins, but he's not going to get away this time. Fights his way, looking for the 10, gets to about the 8-yard line. Gain of 17 on the play. Look at the Arizona playoff resume.
Well, if Florida's defense was ever going to step it up and make a stop, this is the time.
Right there, Iowa. 60-41 at Tampa Bay. Those are big wins, of course. They're all big, but the 65-64 overtime win at Nashville is when Chad May came off the bench, and he scored the 2-point conversion. And actually, apparently, two of the receivers, Hunky Cooper and Gatewood, was it? They ran into each other, and May just took it in himself. McMillan sidesteps the guy, gets out to the 20-yard line, so Big Bob McMillan on the year, he has 4 receptions. He's averaging 15.5 yards, almost 16 yards every time he touches the ball in the receiving department. McMillan, once an all-conference baseball player at Illinois Benedictine. A minute 13. There's a timeout. Florida takes it. Of course, that clock doesn't stop until the last minute of each half, but the Bobcats burn up one of their timeouts. And speaking of burning up, Bruce Hardy, he wants this win in the worst way.
Mike, going back to a point you made earlier about that 2-point conversion that Chad May converted on when the two receivers ran into each other. It was one of the points Danny made his reasons for going with Chad May today because he's such a big playmaker. He's got the ability, when nothing's there, to make things happen. Whereas he felt Donnie Davis was more of the structure-type quarterback. If it was working well and everybody was blocking and the right receiver was open, but he was always, right there on the money. But did Chad May give him a chance to win when things weren't really working too well?
There's Donnie Davis out of Georgia Tech. And Hunky Cooper. He is our Iron Man of the game. That's coming down just moments ago. Hunky Cooper, the Iron Man of the game. Look at some of the jobs he's done here, returning the ball tonight on kickoffs. And, of course, Hunky Cooper, usually catching it, but now he's throwing touchdown passes with a beautiful touch. The former junior college quarterback on the national championship team. Hunky in motion right now. But Chad May wants to go upstairs, looking for Schexnayder. And the ball hung up there a little bit too long. And Otis Mounds, who's playing with that virus, is still in the ball game, covering for Florida defensively. 178 total yards, a touchdown. And he's certainly not slowing down in his 7th year out of UNLV. Cooper played every snap in the last game against Portland, Mike. 329 all-purpose yards against Nashville the week before. He's the AFL Iron Man of the Week, and he's our Iron Man of the game here with 1:01 to go. Chad May, 20 of 28. He had hit 12 straight, 182 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Right, that's fast. 637 man on one, ready?
Well, I thought he's played well, 182 yards. It makes you really appreciate those quarterbacks that rack up 300, 320 yards a game passing.
It really does. But the thing is, Chad May's not made any mistakes.
Right. There's no interceptions on the year. McMillan doing a nice job. Not very fast, but does a great job of picking his spots and weaving through traffic. And we're under the minute mark now here for Phoenix. Bob McMillan, another timeout. Florida takes it. Trailing by 3, 43-40.
Right now we get into a situation that's kind of a different rule here, Mike. Under a minute to go in each half, the offensive team has to advance the ball for positive yardage, or it's an automatic automatic timeout. So the Rattlers have to gain positive yards. They cannot take a knee and let the clock run out or anything like that.
Well, the Arizona Rattlers trying to get to 9-2, but you look at the playoff picture, the top 8 teams get in. Of course, you're battling for home field advantage. Arizona, they can hold on and win it. They'll go to 9-2, extending their streak to 7 straight. And boy, oh boy, Arizona coming up. They have Florida tonight, New England at home. Then they go to Milwaukee, and they have Portland at home. So the schedule definitely favoring the Rattlers, but they've had to earn this one if they pull it out. There's still 53 seconds to go in this ball game. You look at the top 8. Danny White has won 69% of his games, 76-35. The 7th year as the head coach. Boy, he and his dad, Wilford, both in the ASU Hall of Fame, both have their jerseys retired, so that's quite a family affair there at Arizona State. Chad May out of Kansas State looking. Whoa! It's picked off, but the penalty flag goes down as Clarence Lawson.
Well, Mike, that one's going to come back because Clarence Lawson hit Calvin Schexnayder past the 5-yard rule. He cannot bump him past 5 yards, and he does.
Oh, he was hanging all over him before the ball got there.
Illegal contact, number 27.
We're going to look down here at Lawson covering Calvin Schexnayder. Now, right here, he can hit him, but anywhere past there, he can't. And he bumps him past 5 yards.
Well, I guess I was wrong. I stand corrected. He did get his left forearm in there as the ball was in the air, but he wasn't all over him like I had said. So the penalty flag, nonetheless, goes against the rookie out of Utah. Utah beating Arizona in a big bowl game his senior year at Utah. Here he is in Phoenix, Arizona, and this would be a huge win for the Bobcats. Florida Bobcats are home against Orlando, and then they on the road against Albany, so they've got a tough road to hold. McMillan had 19 yards before that carry, picks up one, his 20 yards. And don't forget the Calgary Stampede coming up right after our ball game. The world meeting the West. 41 seconds to go, and this has been a real dogfight. And Florida has just burnt up their last timeout. So Arizona still with one left with 41 seconds to go. Chad May on the left, Danny White on the right. Two record-setting quarterbacks in their collegiate days.
Stay on the end. Stay on the end. It's the left foot, 941. Stay on the end. Left trip, dive 31 on one-on-one. Ready?
Mike, they're going to run a dive 31. Bob McMillan's going to take the ball on the left side. They're just trying to run out the clock. But remember, they've got to gain positive yards.
McMillan again. Hits the line of scrimmage. Forward progress will take it back to the line of scrimmage.
That's exactly the point I was making earlier. Now they get a free timeout right there.
36 seconds to go. So Danny White. And we're talking about the elite teams in the AFL earlier today. We're sitting around the table with Danny, and you could tell he didn't want any part of that conversation because he knew he was going to have a game on his hands here with the Florida Bobcats, especially with Hardy coming back in. Chad May, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, completed 12 of his last 13 passes. Here comes your Iron Man, Hunky Cooper out of UNLV, tiptoes into the end zone. You look for the big-name players to make the big plays at the crucial time, and number 14 is one of the bigger names in the AFL.
That was really a nice run by Hunky Cooper. Really what they're trying to do right here is just keep the ball in bounds and run down the clock, but he breaks through and finds a hole and just lowers his head on Cleveland Pratt. And then, like you say, tiptoes the sidelines and gives him a little dance, a little show. He steps on in the end zone for the touchdown.
And Dave Felice puts it through. And 28 seconds to go. It's back to 10. And while the Arizona Rattler fans start to celebrate, now Bruce Hardy really needs to score quick.
Well, he needs to score quick, and, you know, a lot of things can happen with 28 seconds to go in arena football. But whether or not they score or not, and say this game ends and it's a 10-point difference, it's really not a reflection on really how tight this game was, because Florida played well tonight.
Hunky Cooper back in '96 was 1 vote shy of being named Iron Man of the Year. In '97, playoff record, 192 yards on 9 kickoffs against Tampa Bay. Tonight he comes up with a rushing touchdown. He threw for a touchdown. And the last one came with 28 seconds, 232 all-purpose yards for the 7-year man out of UNLV.
Such an important player to this team, I tell you. Without him, you know, you can lose a guy like Cedric Walker and maybe replace him. Don't get me wrong, I'd hate to lose a Cedric Walker. But Hunky Cooper, like Danny White said earlier, means so much to this team because of his character. The type of character he has is a reflection of what this team is all about.
So with 28 seconds to go, Dave Felice getting ready to kick. Waiting for Cedric Tillman to come in. Gatewood's going to leave the game, and Cleveland Pratt. We mentioned that Cleveland Pratt's with a good average of returning kicks, about 18 yards a return this year. As long of 38, but he has yet to return one for a touchdown, and boy, they could use one at this point. Well, they're not going to try to keep it down on the ground. Pratt plays it off the net. Now the clock running. He has nowhere to go, and look who's down there making the stop at number 14, Hunky Cooper.
He's all over the place. He never quits. Always plays hard. And you know what, Mike? When he plays hard, being the leader of this team, everybody else will play hard as well.
So look at all-time return yards, 7,600, which is second. As you look at the numbers, listen to the numbers tonight. 4 receptions, 38 yards, 20 yards rushing for a touchdown, a pass for 34 yards and a touchdown, 140 yards and 6 returns. Wow. Receiving yards, 5,300 in his career. Boy, he's had a fantastic AFL career, and he's not slowing down at all. Mcnair finds Pratt. Pratt all alone up at 20. And he's dropped his shot at the midfield stripe. And again, 17 seconds to go.
Look who it is, Mike.
Hunky Cooper.
Hunky Cooper. Super duper Hunky Cooper. He's all over the field.
16 seconds to go. The Calgary Stampede coming up right after the game. And Fred Mcnair stops the clock by spiking the football. He'll go over and talk to Bruce Hardy. Boy, dating back to June of '98, these Bobcats are 5-15 in the last 20 games, and this one will be a tough one to swallow.
It will be because they played so hard, but you know, you look back at a couple turnovers that just killed them, and those are the things Bruce said earlier this morning that they had to cut out, and they weren't quite able to do it.
13 seconds to go. Ball just shy of the midfield stripe. Time is definitely not on their side. Hughes could ill afford to drop that one. It slides to his fingertips down to 9 seconds, even if they score. I mean, you hate to say never, considering what has happened, especially on some of the games we broadcasted this year. But it looks like the Bobcats are going to go to 3-9. And a return trip to home to take on Orlando. They only have 2 games remaining. The Arizona Wildcats. They have New England, Milwaukee, and Portland. Mcnair just 2 of his last 9. 8 seconds to go. Mcnair, Cleveland Pratt takes it out of bounds. Clock will stop with 4 seconds.
Mike, they're going to come up short tonight. With 4 seconds, there's just not enough time. But you got to give Bruce Hardy credit and his coaching staff for not letting these guys quit. And giving the players credit for having enough character not to quit. Because at 3-8, going in to face one of the better teams in the league, you're out of the playoffs, it'd be so easy to quit. But they haven't. They've played hard.
And, of course, Orlando's fighting for the life at 5-6 right now, so they could be a spoiler with Orlando. And then they go to Albany to close out their regular season. So something to build on. You're definitely right.
You know, Mike, if they continue to play with this enthusiasm and the never-die attitude and not quit even though they are out of the playoffs, they could spoil a few chances of other teams in this league.
Well, Bruce Hardy was concerned with some of their rough starts during the 4-game skid. They started with a field goal against Orlando, started with an interception against Tampa Bay, they started with a fumble against San Jose. But they started with a touchdown against Nashville, and that's the game they lost in overtime. They played well here in Phoenix tonight. Last play of the game, Mcnair with the prayer off the net, and it's a fight for it in the end zone. And I think it's going to be intercepted by Arizona. So the Arizona Rattlers go to 9-2 on this season. And the Rattlers now have New England at home. Then they go to Milwaukee before closing at Portland. Danny White a step ahead of the rest of the pack. Final score once again, 50-40. For Mike Hall, this is Mike Gleason saying so long from Phoenix. Coming up next on ESPN2, highlights of the Calgary Stampede. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network, go.com. Well, the Bobcats come close, but not close enough. There's your final score, 50-40. The Rattlers are now 9-2. So long from Phoenix.